Should I tie myself?
Okay, it looks like we're live on YouTube now. So is everybody ready?
Okay, we're now live streaming. Hi, this is the Instant Shakespeare Company. I'm Paul Sugarman, and tonight's reading is As You Like It. So over to the Playmaster, Virginia Hammer, to introduce
Hi, everybody. I'm the Play Mistress, Virginia Hammer, and this is As You Like It. And I will be doing Rosalind tonight. Let's just introduce ourselves. Jackie.
Hi, I'm Catherine Margolis, and I'm going to be here. And Sir Oliver Martax and another Lord, and Hyman.
Okay. Cynthia.
Yes, my name is Cynthia, and I'm going to be Celia.
Okay. Ben.
And Wayne, I'm doing Old Adam and Young William.
Okay. Clinton.
Hello, I'm Clinton Powell. I'm reading Dennis and Jacques.
Kitty.
I'm Kitty Chen. I'll be reading LeBeau, Corin, Jacques Dubois, and Second Page.
Right. Christina.
I'm Christina Osterling. I am reading Oliver, Duke Frederick, and Audrey.
Good. Evan.
Sorry, I'm Evan. I will be playing Sylvia's, Amien's First Lord, and First Page. I think that's it.
Okay. Now Victoria.
Hi, everybody. My name is Nat Victoria. I will be playing Charles the Wrestler, Second Lord in Act 2, and Phoebe.
Okay. Vincent.
Hi, everybody. I'm Vincent Saya, and I'll be reading Orlando.
Excellent. Thank you for stepping in at such late notice.
My pleasure.
Michael.
Michael Gardner. I'm doing Touchstone from live in Manhattan.
All right. And Sheila.
Hi, Sheila, and I am filling in for Duke Frederick in Act 3, Scene 1, and anywhere else you may need me.
Okay, excellent. So without any further ado, we are ready to begin with Act 3, Act 1, Scene 1.
Okay. As I remember Adam, it was upon this fashion bequeathed me by will, but for 1,000 crowns, and as thou sayest, charged my brother on this blessing to breed me well, and there begins my sadness. My brother Jake, he keeps at school and report speaks goldenly of his prophet. For my part, he keeps me rustically at home, or, so to speak, more properly, stale me here at home unkempt. For call you that keeping for a gentleman of my birth, that differs not from the stalling of the ox. His horses are bred better, for besides that, they are fair with their feeding. They are taught their manage, and to that end, riders dearly heard, but I, his brother, gain nothing under him but growth. For the which his animals on his dunghills are as much bound to him as I. Besides this, nothing that he is so plentifully gives me, the something that nature gave me. His countenance seems to take from me. He lets me feed with his hinds, bars me the place of a brother. And as much as in him lies, mine's my gentility with my education. This is it, Adam, that grieves me, and the spirit of my father, which I think is within me, begins to mutiny against this servitude. I will no longer endure it, though yet I know no wise remedy to avoid it.
Yonder comes my master, your brother.
Go apart, Adam, and thou shalt hear how he will shake me up.
Now, sir, what make you here?
Nothing. I am not taught to make anything.
What mar you then, sir?
Nary, sir, I am helping you to mar that which God made, a poor, unworthy brother of yours with idleness.
Marry, sir, be better employed, and be not a while.
Shall I keep your hogs and eat husks with them? What prodigal portion have I spent that I should come to such penury?
Know you where you are, sir?
Oh, sir, very well. Here in your orchard.
Know you before whom, sir?
I. Better than him I am before knows me. I know you are my eldest brother, and in the general condition of blood, you should, though she should so know me. The courtesies of nations allows you my better, in that you are the firstborn, but the same tradition that takes not away my blood. Were there 20 brothers betwixt us, I have as much of my father in me as you, albeit I confess your coming before me is nearer to his reverence.
Oliver.
What, boy?
Come, elder brother, you are too young in this.
Wilt thou lay hands on me, villain?
I am no villain. I am the youngest son of Sir Roland de Boys. He was my father, and he is thrice a villain that says such a father begot villains. Wert thou not my brother, I would not take this hand from thy throat till this other hand pulled out thy tongue for saying so. Thou hast railed on myself.
Sweet masters, be patient, for your father's remembrance be at accord.
Let me go, I say.
I will not, till I please. You shall hear me. My father charged you in his will to give me good education. You have trained me like a peasant, obscuring and hiding from me all gentlemanlike qualities. The spirit of my father grows strong in me, and I will no longer endure it. Therefore, allow me such exercises as may become a gentleman, or give me the poor a lottery my father left me by testament. With that I will go buy my fortune.
And what wilt thou do? Beg when that is spent? Well, sir, get you in. I will not long be troubled with you. You shall have some part of your will. I pray you leave me.
I will no further offend you than becomes me for my good.
Get you with him, you old dog.
Is old dog my reward? Most cruel, I have lost my teeth in your service. God be with my old master. He would not have spoke such a word.
Is it even so? Begin you to grow upon me? I will physic your rankness, and yet give no 1,000 crowns neither. Hello, Dennis!
Calls your worship.
Was not Charles the Dukes of Rassler here to speak with me?
So please you, he's here at the door, and my fortune success to you. And infortune success to you.
Call him in, 'twill be a good way. And tomorrow the wrestling is.
Good morrow to your worship.
Good, Monsieur Charles. What's the new news at the new court?
There's no new news at the court, sir, but the old news. That is, the old duke is banished by his younger brother, the new duke, and 3 or 4 loving lords have put themselves into voluntary exile with him, whose lands and revenues enrich the new duke. Therefore, he gives them good leave to wander.
Can you tell if Rosalind, the duke's daughter, be banished with her father?
Oh, no. For the duke's daughter, her cousin so loves her, being ever from their cradles bred together, that he would have followed her exile or have died to stay behind her. She is at the court and no less beloved of her uncle than his own daughter, and never 2 ladies loved as they do.
Where will the old duke live?
They say he is already at the forest of Arden, and a many merry men with him. And there they live like the old Robin Hood of England. They say many young gentlemen flock to him every day and fleet the time carelessly as they did in the Golden World.
What? You wrestle tomorrow before the new duke.
Marry do I, sir, and I came to acquaint you with a matter. I am given, sir, secretly to understand that your younger brother Orlando hath a disposition to come in disguise against me to try a fall. Tomorrow, sir, I wrestle for my credit, and he that escapes me without some broken limb shall acquit him. Well, your brother is but young and tender. For your love, I would be loth to foil him, as I must for my own honor, if come in. Therefore, out of my love to you, I came hither to acquaint you with all, that either you might stay him from his entertainment or brook such disgrace, well as he shall run into, and that is a thing of his own search, and altogether against my will.
Charles, I thank thee for thy love to me, which thou shalt find I will most kindly requite. I had myself notice of my brother's purpose herein, and have by underhand means labored to dissuade him from it. But he is resolute. I'll tell thee, Charles, it is the stubbornest young fellow of France, full of ambition and envious emulator of every man's good parts, and a secret and villainous contriver against me, his natural brother. Therefore, use thy discretion. I had as lief thou didst break his neck as his finger. And thou wert best to it. For if thou dost him any slight disgrace, or if he does not mightily grace himself on thee, he will practice against thee by poison, and trap thee by some treacherous device, and never leave thee till he hath ta'en thy life by some indirect means or other. For I assure thee, and almost with tears I speak it, there is not one so young and so villainous this day living. I speak but brotherly of him. But should I anathemize him to thee as he is, I must blush and weep, and thou must look pale and wonder.
I'm hardly glad I came hither to you. If he come tomorrow, I'll give him his payment. If ever he go alone again, I'll never wrestle for prize more. And so God keep your worship.
Farewell, good Charles. Now will I stir this gamester. I hope I shall see an end of him, for my soul, yet I know not why, hates nothing more than he. Yet he's gentle, never schooled, and yet learned, full of noble device, and of all sorts enchantingly beloved, and indeed so much in the heart of the world, and especially of my own people who best know him, that I am altogether misprized. But it shall not be so long, this wrestler shall clear all. Nothing remains, but that I kindle the boy thither, which now I'll go about.
I pray thee, Rosalind, I pray thee, Rosalind, sweet my coz, be merry.
You're muted, Virginia.
Virginia, you're muted. Let's start from the beginning.
Sorry. Woo! Dear Celia, I show more mirth than I am mistress of, and would you yet were merrier. Unless you could teach me to forget a banished father, you must not learn me how to remember any extraordinary pleasure.
Herein, I see thou lovest me not with the full weight that I love thee. If my uncle, thy banished father, had banished thy uncle, the Duke, my father, So thou hadst been still with me, I could have taught my love to take my father for mine. So wouldst thou, if the truth of my love to me were so righteously tempered as mine is to thee?
Well, I will forget the condition of my estate to rejoice in yours.
You know my father hath no child but I, nor none is like to have. And truly, when he dies, thou shalt be his heir. For what he hath taken away from thy father perforce, I will render thee again in affection. By mine honor I will. And when I break that oath, let me turn monster. Therefore, my sweet Rose, my dear Rose, be merry.
Henceforth I will, coz, and devise sports. Let me see. What think you of falling in love?
Marry, I prithee do, to make sport withal, but love no man in good earnest, nor no further in sport neither, than with safety of pure blush, thou mayst in honor come off again.
Well, what shall be our sport then?
Let us sit and mock the good housewife Fortune from her wheel, that her gifts may henceforth be bestowed equally.
I would we could do so, for her benefits are mightily misplaced, and the bountiful blind woman doth most mistake in her gifts to women.
'Tis true, for those that she makes fair, she scarce makes honest, and those that she makes honest, she makes very ill-favoredly.
Nay, now thou goest from Fortune's office to Nature's. Fortune reigns in gifts of the world, not in the lineaments of nature.
No, when nature hath made a fair creature, may she not by fortune fall into the fire? Though nature hath given us wit to flout at fortune, hath not nature sent in this fool to cut off the argument?
Indeed, there is fortune too hard for nature, when fortune makes nature's natural, the cutter off of nature's wit.
Peradventure, this is not fortune's work neither, but nature's, who perceiveth our natural wits too dull to reason of such goddesses, has sent this natural for our whetstone. For always the dullness of the fool is the whetstone of the wits. How now, wit? Whither wander you?
Oh, mistress, you must come away to your father.
Were you made the messenger?
No, by mine honor, but I was bid to come for you.
Where learned you this oath, fool?
Where am I? Oh, you asked me what are my rows? I'm looking at a different. I marry now. Stand you both forth, stroke your chins, and swear by your heads that I am a knave.
By our beards, if we had them, thou art.
By my knavery, if I had it, then I were. But if you swear that is not, you are not forsworn. No more was this knight swearing by his honor, for he never had any. For if he had, he had sworn it away before he ever saw those pancakes or that mustard.
Prithee, who is it that thou meanst? Prithee, who is it that thou meanst?
Oh, one that old Frederick, your father, loves.
My father's love is enough to honor him enough. Speak no more of him. You'll be whipped for taxation one of these days.
And the more pity that fools may not speak wisely what wise men do foolish.
By my troth, thou say'st true. For since the little wit that fools have was silenced, the little foolery that wise men have makes a great show. Here comes Monsieur Lebeau, with his mouth full of news.
Which he will put on us as pigeons feed their young.
Then shall we be news crammed.
All the better. We shall be the more marketable.
That scene over.
Bonjour, Monsieur Lebeau. What's the news?
Lebeau, where are you?
Fair princess, you have lost much good sport.
Sport? Of what color?
What color, madam? How shall I answer you?
As wit and fortune will. Touchstone?
Well, for Christ's sake, where am I? Nay, where,
Page 13.
I keep losing my place, brothers. I'm so sorry. What fortune where the destiny's decrees.
Well said. That was laid on with a trowel.
Not if I keep not my rank.
Thou loseth thy old smell.
You amaze me, ladies. I would have told you of good wrestling, which you have lost the sight of.
Yeah, tell us the manner of the wrestling.
I will tell you the beginning, and if it please your ladyship, you may see the end, for the best is yet to do, and here where you are, they are coming to perform it.
Well, the beginning is dead and buried.
There comes an old man and his 3 sons.
I could match this beginning with an old tale.
3 proper young men of excellent growth and presence.
With bills on their necks, be it known unto all men by these presents.
The eldest of the 3 wrestled with Charles the Duke's wrestler, which Charles in a moment threw him and broke 3 of his ribs, that there is little hope of life in him. So he served the second, and so the third. Yonder they lie, the poor old man, their father, making such pitiful dole over them that all the beholders take his part with weeping.
Oh, lass.
Well, what is this sport, monsieur, that the ladies have lost?
Why, this that I speak of.
Thus, men may grow wiser every day. It's the first time that I ever heard breaking of the ribs sport for ladies.
Or I promise thee.
But is there any else long to see this broken music in his sides? Is there yet another dotes upon rib breaking? Shall we see this wrestling, cousin?
You must if you stay here, for here is the place appointed for the wrestling, and they are ready to perform it.
Yonder. Sure they are coming. Let us now stay and see it.
Come on, since the youth will not be entreated his own peril or his forwardness.
Is yonder the man?
Even he, madam.
Alas, he is too young, yet he looks successfully.
How now, daughter and cousin? Are you crept hither to see the wrestling?
Aye, my liege, so please you give us leave.
You will take little delight in it, I can tell you. There is such odds in the man. In pity of the challenger's youth, I would fain dissuade him, but he will not be entreated. Speak to him, lady, see if you can move him.
Call him hither, good Monsieur Lebeau.
Do so. I'll not be by.
Monsieur the challenger, the princess calls for you.
I attend them with all respect and duty.
Young man, have you challenged Charles the wrestler?
No, fair princess, he is the general challenger. I come but in as others do, to try with him the strength of my youth.
Young gentlemen, your spirits are too bold for your years. You have seen cruel proof of this man's strength. If you saw yourself with your eyes, or knew yourself with your judgment, the fear of your adventure would counsel you to a more equal enterprise. We pray you for your own sake to embrace your own safety and give over this attempt.
Do, young sir. Your reputation shall not therefore be misprized. We will make it our suit to the Duke that the wrestling might not go forward.
I beseech you, punish me not with your hard thoughts, wherein I confess me much guilty to deny so fair and excellently anything. But let your fair eyes and gentle wishes go with me to my trial, wherein if I be foiled, there is but one shamed that was never gracious. If killed, but one dead that is willing to be so, I shall do my friends no wrong. For I have none to lament, the world no injury. For in it I have nothing. Only in the world I fill up a place, which may be better supplied when I have made it empty.
The little strength that I have, I would it were with you.
And mine to eke out hers.
Fare you well. Pray heaven I be deceived in you.
Your heart's desire be with you.
Come, where's this young gallant that is so desirous to lie with his mother Earth?
Ready, sir, but his will hath in it a more modest working.
You shall try but one fall.
No, I warrant your grace, you shall not entreat him to a second, that have so mightily persuaded him from a first.
You mean to mock me after. You should not have mocked me before, but come your ways.
Now Hercules be thy speed, young man.
I would I were invisible, to catch the strong fellow by the leg.
Oh, excellent, young man.
If I had a thunderbolt in mine eye, I can tell who should down.
No more, no more.
Yes, I beseech your grace, I am not yet well breathed.
How dost thou, Charles?
He cannot speak, my lord.
Bear him away. What is thy name, young man?
Orlando, my liege, the youngest son of Sir Roland de Boys.
I would thou hadst been son to some man else. The world esteemed thy father honorable, but I did find him still mine enemy. Thou shouldst have better pleased me with his deed. Hadst thou descended from another house. But fare thee well, thou art a gallant youth. I would thou hadst told me of another father.
Were I my father, coz, would I do this?
I am more proud to be Sir Roland's son, his youngest son, and would not charge that calling to be adopted here to Frederick.
My father loved Sir Roland as his soul, and all the world was of my father's mind. Had I before known this young man his son, I should have given him tears unto entreaties, ere he should thus have ventured.
Gentle cousin, let us go thank him and encourage him. My father's rough and envious disposition sticks me at heart. Sir, you have well deserved. If you do keep your promises in love, but justly as you have exceeded all promise, your mistress shall be happy.
Gentlemen, wear this for me. One of out of suits with fortune that could give more, but that her hand lacks means. Shall we go, coz?
Aye, fare you well, fair gentlemen.
Can I not say I think you? My better parts are all thrown down, and that which here stands up is but a quintine, a mere liveless blot.
He calls us back. My pride fell with my fortunes. I'll ask him what he would. Did you call, sir? Sir, you have wrestled well and overthrown more than your enemies.
Will you go, coz?
I'm with you. Fare you well.
What passion hangs these weights upon my tongue? I cannot speak to her yet. The urged conference. Oh, poor Orlando's heart overthrown, or Charles, or something weaker masters thee.
Good sir, I do in friendship counsel you to leave this place. Albeit you have deserved high commendation, true applause and love, yet such is now the Duke's condition that he misconstrues all that you have done. The Duke is humorous, what he is indeed more suits you to conceive than I to speak of.
I thank you, sir. I pray you tell me this, which of the two was daughter of the Duke, that here was at wrestling.
Oh, neither his daughter, if we judge by manners, but yet indeed the taller is his daughter. The other is daughter to the banished Duke, and here detained by her usurping uncle to keep his daughter company, whose loves are dearer than the natural bond of sisters. But I can tell you that of late this Duke hath ta'en displeasure against his gentle niece, grounded upon no other argument but that the people praise her for her virtues and pity her for her good father's sake. And on my life, his malice against the lady will suddenly break forth. Sir, fare you well. Hereafter, in a better world than this, I shall desire more love and knowledge of you.
I rest much bounden to you. Fare you well. Thus must I from the smoke into the smolder. from tyrant duke unto a tyrant brother, but heavenly Rosaline.
Act 1, Scene 3.
Why, cousin, why, Rosalind, Cupid, have mercy, not a word?
Not one to throw at a dog.
No, thy words are too precious to be cast away upon curs. Throw some of them at me. Come, lay me with reasons.
Then there were 2 cousins laid up, when the one should be lamed with reasons and the other mad without any.
But is all this for your father?
No, some of it is for my child's father. Oh, how full of briars is this working day world.
They are but burrs, cousin, thrown upon thee in holiday foolery. If we walk not in the trodden paths, our very petticoats will catch them.
I could shake them off my coat. These burrs are in my heart.
Hem them away.
Oh, I would try if I could cry hem and have him.
Come, come, wrestle with thy affections.
Oh, they take the part of a better wrestler than myself.
Oh, a good wish upon you. You will try in time in despite of a fall. But turning these jests out of service, let us talk in good earnest. Is it possible on such a sudden you should fall into so strong a liking with old Sir Rowland's youngest son?
The Duke, my father, loved his father dearly.
Doth it therefore ensue that you should love his son dearly? By this kind of chase I should hate him, for my father hated his father dearly. Yet I hate not Orlando.
No, Faith, hate him not for my sake.
Why should I not? Doth he not deserve well?
Let me love him for that. And do you love him because I do? Look, here comes the Duke.
With his eyes full of anger.
Mistress, dispatch you with your safest haste and get you from my court.
Me, uncle?
You, cousin. Within these 10 days, if that thou best found so near our public court as 20 miles, thou diest for it.
I do beseech your grace, let me the knowledge of my fault bear with me. If with myself I hold intelligence or have acquaintance with mine own desires, if that I do not dream or be not frantic, as I do trust I am not, then, dear uncle, never so much as in thought unborn did I offend your highness.
Thus do all traitors, if their purgation did consist in words. They are as innocent as grace itself. Let it suffice thee that I trust thee not.
Yet your mistrust cannot make me a traitor. Tell me whereon the likelihoods depends.
Thou art thy father's daughter. That's enough.
So was I when your highness took his dukedom. So was I when your highness banished him. Treason is not inherited, my lord. Or if we did derive it from our friends, what's that to me? My father was no traitor. Then, good my liege, mistake me not so much to think my poverty is treacherous.
Dear sovereign, hear me speak.
Ay, Celia, we stayed her for your sake. Else had she with her father ranged along.
I did not then entreat to have her stay. It was your pleasure and your own remorse. I was too young that time to value her, but now I know her. If she be a traitor, why, so am I. We still have slept together, rose at an instant, learned, played, ate together, and wheresoever we went, like Juno's swan, still we went coupled and inseparable.
She is too subtle for thee, and her smoothness, her very silence, and her patience speak to the people, and they pity her. Thou art a fool. She robs thee of thy name, and thou wilt show more bright and seem more virtuous when she is gone. Then open not thy lips firm, and irrevocable is my doom. Which I have passed upon her, she is banished.
Pronounce that sentence on me, my liege. I cannot live out of her company.
You are a fool. You needs provide yourself. If you outstay the time upon mine honor, and in the greatness of my word, you die.
Oh, my poor Rosalind, whither wilt thou go? Wilt thou change fathers? I will give thee thine. I charge thee, be not thou more grieved than I am.
I have more cause.
Thou hast not, cousin. Prithee be cheerful. Know'st thou not the Duke hath banished me, his daughter?
That he hath not.
No, he hath not. Rosalind lacks then the love which teacheth thee that thou and I am one. Shall we be sundered? Shall we part, sweet girl? No, let my father seek another heir. Therefore devise with me how we may fly, whether to go and what to bear with us. And do not seek to take your change upon you, to bear your griefs yourself and leave me out. For by this heaven, now at our sorrow's pale, say what thou canst, I'll go along with thee.
Oh, why? Whither shall we go?
To seek my uncle in the forest of Arden.
Oh, alas, what danger will it be to us, maids as we are, to travel forth so far? Beauty provoketh thieves sooner than gold.
I'll put myself in poor and mean attire, and with a kind of umber smirch my face. The like do you, so shall we pass along and never stir assailants.
Were it not better, because that I am more than common tall, that I did suit me in all points like a man? A gallant turtle-axe upon my thigh, a bone spear in my hand, and in my heart lie there what hidden woman's fear there will. We'll have a swashing and a martial outside, as many other mannish cowards have, that do outface it with their semblances.
What shall I call thee when thou art a man?
I'll have no worse a name than Jove's own page, and therefore look you call me Ganymede. But what will thou be called?
Something that hath a reference to my state. No longer Celia, but Eliana.
The cousin. What if we essay to steal the clownish fool out of your father's court? Would he not be a comfort to our travail?
He'll go along all the wide world with me. Leave me alone to woo him. Let's away and get our jewels and our wealth together. Devise the fittest time and safest way to hide us from pursuit that will be made after my flight. Now, go and we content to liberty and not to banishment.
Act 2, Scene 1.
Now, my co-mates and brothers in exile, hath not old custom made this life more sweet than that of painted pomp? Will not these woods more free from peril than the envious court? Yet feel we not the penalty of Adam, the season's difference as the icy fange and churlish chiding of the winter's wind, which when it bites and blows upon my body, even till I shrink with cold, I smile and say, this is no flattery. These are counselors that feelingly persuade me what I am. Sweet are the uses of adversity, which like the toad, ugly and venomous, wears yet a precious jewel in his head. And this our life exempt from public haunt, finds tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything.
I would not change it. Happy is your grace that can translate the stubbornness of fortune into so quiet and so sweet a style.
Come, shall we go and kill us venison? Oh, and yet it irks me, the poor dappled fools being native burghers of this desert city should in their own confines with forked heads have their round haunches gored.
Indeed, my lord, the melancholy Jaques grieves at that, and in that kind swears you do more usurp than doth your brother that hath banished you. Today, my lord of Amiens and myself did steal behind him as he lay along under an oak, whose antic root peeps out upon the brook that brawls along the wood, to which place a poor sequestered stag that from the hunter's aim had ta'en a hurt, did come to languish. And indeed, my lord, the wretched animal heaved forth such groans that their discharge did stretch his leathern coat almost to bursting, and the big round tears coursed to one another down his innocent nose in piteous chase, and thus the hairy fool, much marked of the melancholy Jaques, stood on the extremest verge of the swift brook, augmenting it with tears.
Oh, but what said Jaques? Did it not moralize this spectacle?
Oh, yes, and to 1,000 similes. First, for his weeping into the needless stream. Poor dear, quoth he, thou makest a testament as well worldlings do, giving thy sum of more to that which had too much, then being there alone, left and abandoned of his velvet friend. 'Tis right, quoth he, thus misery doth part the flocks of company. Anon, a careless herd, full of the pasture, jumps along by him, and never stays to greet him. I quoth Jaques, sweep on, you fat and greasy citizens. 'Tis just the fashion, wherefore do you look upon that poor and broken bankrupt there? Thus most invectively he pierceth through the body of country, city, court, yea, and of this our life, swearing that we are mere usurpers, tyrants, and what was, to fright the animals and to kill them up in their assigned and native dwelling place.
And did you leave him in this contemplation?
We did, my lord, weeping and commenting upon the sobbing deer.
Show me the place. I love to cope him in these sullen fits, for then he's full of matter.
I'll bring him to you straight.
Can it be possible that no man saw them? It cannot be. Some villains of my court are of consent and sufferance in this.
I cannot hear of any that did see her. The ladies who were attendants of her chamber saw her abed, and in the morning early they found the bed untreasured of their mistress.
My lord, the ruinous clown, at whom so oft your grace was wont to laugh, is also missing. Hesperia, the princess gentlewoman, confesses that she secretly overheard your daughter and her cosin much commend the parts and graces of the wrestler that did but lately foil the snowy Charles, and she believes wherever they are gone, that youth is surely in their company.
Send to his brother. Fetch that gallant hither. If he be absent, bring his brother to me. I'll make him find him. Do this suddenly, and let not search and inquisition quail to bring again these foolish runaways.
Act 2, Scene 3.
Who's there?
What? My young master, oh, my gentle master, oh, my sweet master, oh, you memory of old Sir Roland, why, what make you here? Why are you virtuous? Why do people love you? And wherefore are you gentle, strong, and valiant? Why would you be so fond to overcome the bonny prizer of the humorous duke? Your praise is come too swiftly home before you. Know you not, master, to seem kind of men at their graces, but as enemies, no more of yours. Your virtues, gentle master, are sanctified and holy traitors to you. Oh, what a world is this, and what is comely and bears him that bears it.
Why, what's the matter?
Oh, happy youth, come not within these doors. Within this roof, the enemy of all your graces lives. Your brother, no, brother, yet the son, yet not the son. I will not call him son. Of him I was about to call his father, hath heard your praises, and this night he means to burn the lodging where you used to lie, and you with it. If he fail of that, he will have other means to cut you off. I overheard him and his practices. This is no place. This house is but a butchery. Abhor it, fear it, do not enter it.
Why, whither, Adam, wouldst thou have me go?
No matter whither you come not here.
What wouldst thou have me go and beg my food, or with a base and boisterous sword enforce a thievish living on the common road? This I must do, or know not what to do. Yet this I will not do. Do how I can. I rather will subject me to the malice of a diverted blood and blondie brother.
But do not so. I have 500 crowns. the thrifty hire I saved under your father, which I did store to be my foster nurse, when service should in my old limbs lie lame, and unregarded age in corners thrown. Take that, and he that doth the ravens feed, yea, providently caters for the sparrow, be comfort to my age. Here is the gold. All this I give you.
Adam?
I think he's frozen.
Oh, okay. Sheila, do you think you could take over?
Sure. Take that, and he that doth the raven feed, yea, providently caters for the sparrow. Be comfort to my age. Here is the gold. All this I give you. Let me be your servant. Though I look old, yet I am strong and lusty. For in my youth I never did apply hot and rebellious liquors in my blood, nor did with unabashed forehead woe the means of weakness and debility. Therefore my age is as lusty winter, frosty but kindly. Let me go with you. I'll do the service of a younger man in all your business and necessities.
Oh, good old man, how well in thee appears the constant service of the antique world. When service sweet for duty, when service sweat for duty, not for meed, thou art not for the fashion of these times, where none will sweat but for promotion, and having that do choke their service up, even with the having. It is not so with thee. But poor old man, thou prunest a rotten tree that cannot so much as a blossom yield, in lieu of all my pains and husbandry. But come thy ways, we'll go along together, and ere we have thy youthful wages spent, we'll light upon some settled low content.
Master, go on, and I will follow thee to the last gasp with truth and loyalty, from 70th years till now almost 80. Here live I, but now live here no more. At 17 years many their fortune seek, but at 80 it is too late a week. Yet fortune cannot recompense me better than to die well, and not my master's debtor.
Act 2, Scene 4. Oh, Jupiter, how merry are my spirits!
I care not for my spirits if my legs were not weary.
I could find in my heart to disgrace my man's apparel, and to cry like a woman, but I must comfort the weaker vessel, as doublet and hose ought to show itself courageous to petticoat. Therefore courage, good Eliana.
I pray you bear with me. I cannot go no further.
For my part, I'd rather bear with you than bear you. Yet I should not bear no cross if I did bear you, for I think you have no money in your purse.
Well, this is the forest of Arden.
Aye, and now I am in Arden, a more full eye. If I was at home, I was in a better place, but travelers must be content.
Aye, be so, good Touchstone. Look you, who comes here? A young man and an old in solemn talk.
That is the way to make her scorn you still.
Oh, Corin, that thou knewest how I do love her.
I partly guess, for I have loved ere now.
No, Corin, being old, thou canst not guess. Though in thy youth thou wast a true lover, as ever sighed upon a midnight pillow. But if thy love were ever like to mine, as sure I think did never man love so, how many actions most ridiculous hast thou been drawn to by thy fantasy?
Oh, into 1,000 that I have forgotten.
Thou didst then never love so heartily, if I rememberest not the slightest if thou rememberest not the slightest folly that ever love did make thee run into, thou hast not loved. Or if thou hast not sat as I do now, wearing thy hair in thy mistress's praise, thou hast not loved. Or if thou hast not broke from company abruptly as my passion now makes me, thou hast not loved. Oh, Phoebe, Phoebe, Phoebe.
Alas, poor shepherd, searching of thy wound, I have by hard adventure found mine own.
Oh, and I mine. I remember when I was in love, I broke my sword upon a stone and bid him take that for coming at night of Jane Smiley. And I remember the kissing of her baffler, cow's dugs that her pretty chapped hands had built. And I remember the wooing of a peace card instead of whom I took 2 cards and getting them again, set with weeping tears. Wear these for my sake. We that are true lovers run into strange capers, but as all mortal is nature, so is all nature, so love is mortal.
Thou speakst wiser than thou art ware of.
Nay, I shall never be ware of mine own wit till I break my shins against.
Jove, Jove, this shepherd's passion is much upon my fashion.
And mine is, but it grows something stale with me.
I pray you, one of you question yon man. If he for gold will give us any food, I faint almost to death.
Hello, you clown.
Peace, fool. He's not thy kinsman.
Who calls?
Your betters, sir.
And also they're very wretched.
Peace, I say. Good even to you, friend.
And to you, gentle sir, and to you all.
I prithee, shepherd, if that love or gold can in this desert place buy entertainment, bring us where we may rest ourselves and feed. Here's a young maid with travail much oppressed and faints for succor.
There, sir, I pity her, and wish for her sake more than for mine own. My fortunes were more able to relieve her. But I am shepherd to another man, and do not share the fleeces that I graze. My master is of churlish disposition, and little reeks to find the way to heaven by doing deeds of hospitality. Besides, his coat, his flocks, and bounds of feed are now on sale, and at our sheepcote now, by reason of his absence, there is nothing that you will feed on. But what is, come see, and in my voice most welcome shall you be.
What is he that shall buy his flock and pasture?
That young swain that you saw here but erewhile, that little cares for buying anything.
I pray thee, if it stand with honesty, buy thou the cottage, pasture, and the flock, and thou shalt have to pay for it of us.
And we shall mend thy wages. I like this place and willingly could waste my time in it.
Assuredly, the thing is to be sold. Go with me if you like upon report. The soil, the profit, and this kind of life, I will your very faithful feeder be, and buy it with your gold right suddenly.
Act 2, Scene 5.
Under the greenwood tree, who loves to lie with me and turn his merry note unto the greenwood road. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy but winter and rough weather.
More, I prithee more.
It will make you melancholy, Monsieur Jacques.
I thank it. More, I prithee more. I can suck melancholy out of a song as a weasel sucks eggs. More, I prithee more.
My voice is ragged. I know I cannot please you.
I do not desire you to please me. I do desire you to sing. Come, more, another stanzo. Call you stanzos?
What you will, Monsieur Jacques.
Nay, I care not for their names. They owe me nothing. Will you sing?
More at your request than to please myself.
Well, then, if ever I thank any man, I'll thank you. But that they call compliments is like the encounter of two dog apes. And when a man thanks me heartily, methinks I have given him a penny, and he renders me the beggarly thanks. Come, sing, and you that will not hold your tongues.
Well, I'll end the song, sirs. Cover the while the Duke will drink under this tree. He hath been all this day to look you.
And I have been all this day to avoid him. He is too disputable for my company. I think of as many matters as he, but I give heaven thanks and make no boast of them. Come, warble, come.
Who doth ambition shun and loves to live in the sun, seeking the food he eats and pleased with what he gets. Come hither, come hither, come hither, here shall he see.
I'll give you a verse to this note that I made yesterday in despite of my invention.
And I'll sing it. Thus goes. If it do come to pass that any man turn ass, leaving his wealth and ease, a stubborn will to please, Duke Dame, Duke Dame, Duke Dame, here shall he see, gross fool is he, if he will come to me. What's Duke Dame?
'Tis a Greek invocation to call fools into a circle. I'll go sleep if I can. If I cannot, I'll rail against all the firstborn of Egypt.
And I'll go seek the Duke. His banquet is prepared.
Act 2, Scene 6. Shelia, could you do
Yes,
Adam?
sure. Dear master, I could go no further. Oh, I die for food. Here lie I down and measure out my grave. Farewell, kind master.
Why, how now, Adam? No greater heart in thee. Live a little, comfort a little, cheer thyself a little. If this uncouth forest yield anything savage, I will either be food for it, or bring it for food to thee.
Sorry, I'm back.
Thy conceit is nearer death than my powers. For my sake, be comfortable. Hold death a while. At the army's end, I will here be with thee presently. And if I bring thee not something to eat, I will give thee leave to die. But if thou diest before I come, thou art a mocker of my labor. Well said, thou look'st cheerly, and I'll be with thee quickly, yet thou liest in the bleakest air. Come, I will bear thee to some shelter, and thou shalt not die for lack of a dinner. If there live anything in this desert, surely good Adam.
I think he be transformed into a beast, for I can nowhere find him. Like
My lord, he is but even now gone hence. Here was he merry, hearing of a song.
Oh, if he be compact to jars, grow musical, we shall have shortly discordant spheres. Go seek him, tell him I would speak with him.
Oh, he saved my labor by his own approach.
Why, how now, monsieur? What a life is this, that your poor friends must woe your company? Well, you look merrily.
A fool? A fool. I met a fool in the forest, a motley fool, a miserable world. As I do live by food, I met a fool who laid him down and basked him in the sun and railed on Lady Fortune in good terms, in good set terms, and yet a motley fool. Good morrow, fool, quoth I. No, sir, quoth he, call me not fool, 'tis till heaven hath sent me fortune. And then he drew a dial from his poke and looking on it with lackluster eye says, very wisely, it is 10 o'clock. Thus we may see, quoth he, how the world wags. 'Tis but an hour ago since it was 9, and after 1 hour more 'twill be 11. And so from hour to hour we ripe and ripe. And then from hour to hour we rot and rot, and thereby hangs a tale. When I did hear the motley fool thus moral on the time, my lungs began to crow like chanticleer, that fools should be so deep contemplative. And I did laugh, sans intermission, an hour by his dial. Oh, noble fool, a worthy fool, motley's the only wear.
Oh, what fool is this?
Oh, worthy fool, one that hath been a courtier, and says, if ladies be but young and fair, they have the gift to know it. And in his brain, which is as dry as the remainder biscuit after a voyage, he hath strange places crammed with observation, the which he vents in mangled forms. Oh, that I were a fool. I am ambitious for a motley coat.
Oh, thou shalt have one.
It is my only suit, provided that you weed your better judgments of all opinions that grow rank in them. That I am wise, I must have liberty, withal as large a charter as the wind, to blow on whom I please, for so fools have. And they are most galled with my folly, they most must laugh. And why, sir, must they so? The why is plain, as way to parish church. He that a fool doth very wisely hit, doth very foolishly, although he's smart, seem senselessly of the bob. If not, the wise man's folly is anathemized even by the squandering glances of the fool. Invest me in my motley. Give me leave to speak my mind, and I will through and through cleanse the foul body of the infected world, if they will patiently receive my medicine.
Oh, fire thee. I can tell what thou wouldst do.
What? For a counter would I do, but good.
Most mischievous foul sin, in chiding sin, for thou thyself hast been a libertine, as sensual as the brutish sting itself, and all the embossed sores and headed evils that thou with license of free foot hast caught, which thou disgorge into the general world.
Why, who cries out on pride that can therein tax any private party? Doth it not flow as hugely as the sea? Till that the weary very means do ebb, what woman in the city do I name? When that I say the city woman bears the cost of princes on unworthy shoulders. Who can come in and say that I mean her, when such a one as she, such is her neighbor? Or what is he of basest function that says his bravery is not on my cost, thinking that I mean him, but therein suits his folly to the metal of my speech? There then, how then, what then? Let me see wherein my tongue hath wronged him. If it do him right, then he hath wronged himself. If he be free, why then my taxing like a wild goose flies unclaimed of any man. But who comes here?
Forbear and eat no more.
Why, I have eaten none yet.
Nor shall not, till necessity be served.
Of what kind should this cock come off?
Art thou thus bolden man by thy distress, or else a rude despiser of good manners, that in civility thou seemest so empty?
Thou touched my vein at first, the thorny point of bare distress, hath ta'en from me the shoe of smooth civility. Yet am I inland bred, and know some nurture. But forbear, I say, he dies that touches any of this fruit, till I and my affairs are answered.
And you will not be answered with reason, I must die.
What would you have? Your gentleness shall force more than your force move us to gentleness.
I almost die for food, and let me have it.
Oh, sit down and feed, and welcome to our table.
Speak you so gently, pardon me, I pray you. I thought that all things had been savage here, and therefore put I on the countenance of stern command meant. But what air you are, that in this desert inaccessible, under the shade of melancholy boughs, lose and neglect the creeping hours of time, if ever you have looked on better days. If ever been where bells have knolled to church, if ever sate at any good man's feast, if ever from your eyelids wiped a tear, and know what 'tis to pity and be pitied, let gentleness my strong enforcement be. And the which hope I blush and hide my sword.
And true is it that we have seen better days, and have with holy bell been known to church, and sat at good men's feast, and wiped our eyes of drops that sacred pity hath engendered. And therefore sit you down in gentleness, and take upon command what help we have, that to your wanting may be ministered.
Then but forbear your food a little while, whilst like a duck I go to find my fawn, and give it food. There is an old poor man, who after me hath many a weary step, limped in pure love, till he be first sufficed, oppressed with two weak evils, age and hunger. I will not touch a bit.
Go find him out, and we will nothing waste till you return.
I thank thee, and be blessed for your good comfort.
Thou seest we are not all alone unhappy. The wide and universal theatre presents more woeful pageant than the scene wherein we play in.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, the acts being 7 ages. At first, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. Then the whining schoolboy in his satchel and shining morning face creeping like snail unwillingly to school. And then the lover, sighing like furnace with a woeful ballad made to his mistress' eyebrow. Then a soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, in fair round belly with good capon lined, with eyes severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances. And so he plays his part. The 6th age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful hose well saved, a world too wide for his shrunk shank, and his big manly voice turning again toward childish treble pipes and whistles in his sound. Last scene of all, that ends the strange, eventful history, is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
Welcome. Set down your venerable burden and let him feed.
I thank you most for him.
So had you need, I scarce can speak to thank you for myself.
Oh, welcome, fall to. I will not trouble you as yet to question you about your fortunes. Give us some more music, and good cousins sing.
Blow, blow, thou winter wind, thou art not so unkind as man's ingratitude. Thy tooth not so keen, because thou art not seen, although thy breath be rude. Hey ho, sing hey ho, until the green holly. Most friendship is feigning, most loving mere folly. The hey ho, the holly, the life is most jolly. Freeze, freeze, thou bitter sky, that dost not bite so nigh, as benefits forgot. Though thou the waters warp, thy sting is not so sharp, as friend remembered not. Hey ho, sing hey ho.
If that you were the good Sir Roland's son, as you have whispered faithfully you were, And as mine eye doth his effigies witness most truly lined, and living in your faith, be truly welcome hither. I am the Duke that loved your father, the residue of your fortune. Go to my cave and tell me, good old man, thou art right welcome as thy master is. Support him by the arm, give me your hand, and let me all your fortunes understand.
Act 3, Scene 1.
I've not seen him since. Sir, that cannot be. But were I not the better part made mercy, I should not seek an absent argument of my revenge thou present. But look to it. Find out thy brother wheresoe'er he is, seek him with candle, bring him dead or living within this 12-month, or turn thou no more to seek a living in our territory. Thy lands and all things that thou dost call thine, worth seizure do we seize into our hands, till thou canst quit thee by thy brother's mouth of what we think against thee.
Oh, that your highness knew my heart in this. I never loved my brother in my life.
More villain thou. We'll push him out of doors, and let my officers of such a nature make an extent upon his house and lands. Do this expediently, and turn him going.
Act 3, Scene 2.
Oh, hang there my verse, in witness of my love, and thou thrice crowned queen of night survey, with thy chaste eye, for thy pale sphere above thy huntress name, that my full life doth sway. Oh, Rosalind, these trees shall be my books, and in their barks my thoughts I'll character, that every eye which in this forest looks shall see thy virtue. Why, witness everywhere. Run, Orlando, carve on every tree the fair, the chaste, and the inexpressive she.
How like you this shepherd's life, Mr. Touchstone?
Truly, shepherd, in respect of itself, it is a good life. But in respect that it is a shepherd's life, it is not. In respect that it is solitary, I like it very well, but in respect that it is private, it is a very vile life. Now, in respect that it is in the fields, it pleases me well, but in respect that it is not in the court, it is tedious. As it is a spare life, look at you, it fits my humor well, but as there is no more plenty in it, it goes much against my stomach. Is any philosophy in these, shepherd?
No more, but that I know the more one sickens, the worse at ease he is, and that he that wants money, means, and content is without 3 good friends. That the property of rain is to wet, and fire to burn, that good pasture makes fat sheep, and that a great cause of the night is lack of a sun. That he that hath learned no wit by nature nor art may complain of good breeding, or comes of a very dull kindred.
Such a one is a natural philosopher. Was ever in court, shepherd?
No, truly.
Then thou art damned.
Nay, I hope.
Ah, truly thou art damned, like an ill-roasted egg all on one side.
For not being at court? Your reason?
Why, if thou never was at court, thou never sawest good manners. And if thou never sawest good manners, then thy manners must be wicked. And wickedness is sin, and sin is damnation. Now it's in a parlous state, shepherd.
Not a whit, Touchstone. Those that are good manners at the court are as ridiculous in the country as the behavior of the country is most mockable at the court. You told me you salute not at the court, but you kiss your hands. That courtesy would be unclean if courtiers were shepherds.
Instance, briefly, come instance.
Why, we are still handling our ewes, and their fields, you know, are greasy.
Why? Do not your courtiers' hands sweat? Is not the grease of a mutton as wholesome as the sweat of a man? Shallow. A better instance, I say, come.
Besides, our hands are hard.
Well, your lips will feel them the sooner. Shallow again. A more sounder instance, come.
And they are often tarred over with the surgery of our sheep. And would you have us kiss tar? The courtier's hands are perfumed with civet.
Oh, more shallow man, thou worm's meat in respect of a good piece of flesh indeed. Learn of the wise. A prepared civet is of a base birth and tar. The very uncleanly flux of a cat. Oh, men, thy instant shepherd.
You have too courtly a wit. For me, I'll rest.
Will thou be damned? God help thee, shallow man. God make incision in thee. Thou art raw.
Sir, I am a true laborer. I earn that I eat, get that I wear. Oh, no man hate, envy no man's happiness. Glad of other men's good content with my harm. And the greatest of my pride is to see my ewes graze and my lambs suck.
Aha, that is another simple sin in you, to bring the ewes and the rams together and to offer to get your living by the copulation of cattle, to be bored to a bellwether and to betray a she-lamb of a 12-month to a crooked-pated old cockledy ram out of all reasonable match. If thou must be damned for this, the devil himself will have no shepherds. Oh, I cannot see how thou shalt escape.
Here comes young Mr. Ganymede, my new mistress's brother.
For the east to western end, no jewel is like Rosalind. Her worth being mounted on the whole wind, through all the world bears Rosalind. All the pictures fairest lind are but black to Rosalind. Let no face be kept in mind, but the fair of Rosalind.
Yeah, I'll rhyme you this to 8 years together, dinners and suppers and sleeping hours accepted. It is the right butter woman's ranked market.
Out, fool.
Let me see. For a taste, if a heart do lack a hind, let him seek out Rosaline. If the cat will after kind, so be sure will Rosaline. Wintered garments must be lined, so much slender Rosaline. And they that grieve must sheaf and hind, then to cart with Rosaline. Sweetest nut hath sourest rind, such a nut is Rosaline. He that sweetest rose will find, must find love's prick and Rosaline. This is the very false gallop of verses. Why do you infect yourself with me?
Peace, you dull fool. I found them on a tree.
Truly the tree yields bad fruit.
I'll graph it with you, and then I shall graph it with a meddler. Then it shall be the earliest fruit in the country, for you'll be rotten ere you'll be half ripe. And that's the true virtue of the meddler.
You have said, but whether wisely or no, let the forests judge.
Peace. Here comes my sister reading. Stand aside.
Why should this desert be, for it is unpeopled? No. Tongues I'll hang on every tree, that shall civil sayings show. Some how brief the life of man runs his erring pilgrimage, that the stretching of a span buckles in his sum of age. Some of violated vows twixt the souls of friend and friend. But upon the fairest boughs, or at every sentence end, will I Rosalinda write, teaching all that read to know the quintessence of every spite heaven would in little show. Therefore heaven, nature charged, that one body should be filled with all graces wide and large. Nature presently distilled Helen's cheek, but not her heart. Cleopatra's majesty, Atalanta's better part, sad Lucretia's modesty. Thus Rosalind of many parts by heavenly synod was devised, of many faces, eyes, and hearts, to have the touches dearest prized. Heaven would that she these gifts should have, and I to live and die her slave.
Oh, most gentle Jupiter, what tedious homily of love have you wearied your parishioners withal, and never cried? Have patience, good people.
How now, back friends. Shepherd, go off a little. Go with him, Sirrah.
Come, shepherd, let us make an honorable retreat, though not with bag and baggage, yet with scrip and scrippage.
Didst thou hear these verses?
Oh, yes, I heard them all, and more too, for some of them had in them more feet than the verses would bear.
That's no matter. The feet might bear ye verses.
Aye, but the feet were lame, and could not bear themselves without the verse, and therefore stood lamely in the verse.
Didst thou hear without wondering how thy name should be hanged and carved upon these trees?
I was 7 of the 9 days out of the wonder before you came. For look here, what I found on a palm tree. I was never so berhymed since Pythagoras' time that I was an Irish rat, which I can hardly remember.
Try you who have done this?
Is it a man?
And a chain that you once wore about his neck. Change you color?
Prithee, who?
Oh, Lord, Lord. It is a hard matter for friends to meet. But mountains may be removed with earthquakes and no so encounter.
Nay, but who is it?
Is it possible?
Nay, I prithee now, with most petitionary vehemence. Tell me who it is.
Oh, wonderful! Wonderful! And most wonderful, wonderful, and yet again wonderful. And after that, out of all weeping.
Good my complexion! Dost thou think, though I in comparison like a man, I have a doublet and hose in my disposition? 1 inch of delay more is a South Sea of discovery. I prithee tell me, who is it quickly, and speak apace? I would thou couldst stammer, that thou mightst pour this concealed man out of thy mouth, as wine comes out of a narrow-mouthed bottle, either too much at once or none at all. I prithee take the cork out of thy mouth, that I may drink thy tidings.
So you may put a man in your belly?
Is he of God's making? What manner of man? Is his head worth a hat? Or his chin worth a beard?
Nay, he hath but a little beard.
Why, God will send more, if the man will be thankful. Let me stay the growth of his beard, if thou delay me not the knowledge of his chin.
It is young Orlando that tripped up the wrestler's heels and your heart, both in an instant.
Nay, but the devil take mocking. Speak sad brow and true maid.
In faith, cause 'tis he.
Orlando?
Orlando.
Oh, last the day. What shall I do with my doublet and hose? What did he when thou saw'st him? What said he? How looked he? Wherein went he? What makes he here? Did he ask for me? Where remains he? How parted he with me? With thee? And when shalt thou see him again? Answer me in one word.
You must borrow me Gargantua's mouth first. 'Tis a word too great for any mouth of this age's size. To say aye and no to these particulars is more than to answer in a catechism.
But doth he know that I am in this forest and in man's apparel? Looks he as freshly as he did the day he wrestled?
It is as easy to count atomies as to resolve the propositions of a lover. But take a taste of my finding him and relish it with good observance. I found him under a tree like a dropped acorn.
It may well be called Jove's tree when it drops forth such fruit.
Give me audience, good madam.
Proceed.
There lay he stretched along like a wounded knight.
Oh, though it be pity to see such a sight, it well becomes the ground.
Cry hurrah to the tongue, I prithee. It curvets unseasonably. He was furnished like a hunter.
Oh, ominous. He comes to kill my heart.
I would sing my song without a burthen. Thou bringst me out of tune.
Do you not know I am woman? When I think, I must speak. Sweet, say on.
You bring me out. Soft. Soft, comes he not here?
'Tis he. Slink by and note him.
I thank you for your company, but good faith, I had as lief have been myself alone.
And so had I, but yet for fashion's sake, I thank you too for your society.
Goodbye, you. Let's meet as little as we can.
I do desire we may be better strangers.
I pray you, Mary, no more trees. No, I pray you, Mar, no more trees with writing love songs in their barks.
I pray you, Mar, no of my verses with reading them ill favorably.
Rosalinda is your lover's name? I do not like her name.
Yeah. Yes,
I do not like her name.
She is
What stature is she of?
just as high as my heart.
Oh, you're full of pretty answers. Have you not been acquainted with goldsmiths' wives and conned them out of rings?
Not so, but I answer you right, painted cloth, from whence you have studied your questions.
You have a nimble wit. I think 'twas made of Atalanta's heels. Will you sit down with me, and we two will rail against our mistress, the world, and all our miseries?
I will chide no breather in the world but myself, against whom I know most faults.
The worst fault you have is to be in love.
'Tis a fault I will not change. For your best virtue, I am wary of you.
By my troth, I am seeking for a fool when I found you.
He is drawn to the brook. Look but in, and you shall see him.
There I shall see mine own figure.
Which I take to be either a fool or a cipher.
I'll tarry no longer with you. Farewell, good Signor Love.
I am glad of your departure. Adieu, good Monsignor Melancholy.
I will speak to him like a saucy lackey, and under that habit play the knave with him. Do you hear, Forester?
Very well. What would you?
I pray you, what is it o'clock?
You should ask me what time of day. There's no clock in the forest.
Then there is no true lover in the forest, else sighing every minute and groaning every hour would detect the lazy foot of time as well as a clock.
And why not the swift foot of time? Had not that been as proper?
By no means, sir. Time travels in diverse paces with diverse persons. I'll tell you whom time ambles withal, whom time trots withal, who time gallops withal, and who he stands still withal.
I prithee, who doth he trot withal?
Marry, he trots hard with a young maid between the contract of her marriage and the day it is solemnized. If the interim be but a sennight, time's pace is so hard that it seems the length of 7 years.
Who ambles time withal?
With a priest that lacks Latin, and a rich man that hath not the gout. For the one sleeps easily because he cannot study, and the other lives merrily because he feels no pain. The one lacking the burden of lean and wasteful learning, the other knowing no burden of heavy, tedious penury. These time ambles withal.
Who doth he gallop withal?
With a thief to the gallows. For though he go as softly as foot can fall, he thinks himself too soon there.
Who stays it still withal?
With lawyers in the vacation, for they sleep between term and term, and then they perceive not how time moves.
Where dwell you, prithee youth?
with the shepherdess, my sister, here in the skirts of the forest, like fringe upon a petticoat.
Are you native to this place?
As the cunny that you see dwell where she is kindled.
Your access is something finer. Your accent is something finer than you could purchase in so removed a dwelling.
I have been told so of many. But indeed, an old religious uncle of mine taught me how to speak, who was in his youth an inland man, one that knew courtship too well. For there he fell in love. I have heard him read many lectures against it, and I thank God I am not a woman to be touched with so many giddy offenses, as he hath generally taxed their whole sex withal.
Can you remember any of the principal evils that he laid to the charge of women?
There were none principal. They were all like one another, as halfpence are, every one fault seeming monstrous, till his fellow fault came to match it.
I prithee recount some of them.
No, I will not cast away my physic, but on those that are sick. There is a man haunts the forest that abuses our young plants with carving Rosalind on their barks, hangs odes upon hawthorns and elegies on brambles, all, forsooth, defying the name of Rosalind. If I could meet that fancy monger, I would give him some good counsel, for he seems to have the quotidian of love upon him.
I am he that is so love-shaken. I pray you, tell me your remedy.
Oh, there is none of my uncle's marks upon you. He taught me to know a man in love, in which cage of rushes I am sure you were not prisoner.
What were his marks?
A lean cheek, which you have not, a blue eye and sunken, which you have not, an unquestionable spirit, which you have not, a beard neglected, which you have not, but I pardon you for that, for simply in having a beard is a younger man's revenue. Then your hose should be ungartered, your bonnet unbanded, your sleeve unbuttoned, your shoe untied, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation. But you are no such man. You are rather point device in your accoutrements, as loving yourself than seeming the lover of any other.
Fair youth, I would I could make thee believe.
Me believe it? You may as soon make her that you love believe it, which I warrant she is after to do than to confess she does. That she is one of the points in which women still give the lie to their consciousness. But in good sooth, are you he that hangs the verses on the trees wherein Rosalind is so admired?
I swear to thee, youth, by the white hand of Rosaline, I am that he, that unfortunate he.
But are you so much in love as your rhymes speak?
Neither rhyme nor reason can express how much.
Love is merely a madness, and I tell you, deserves as well a dark house and a whip as madmen do. And the reason why they are not so punished and cured is that the lunacy is so ordinary that the whippers are in love too. Yet, I profess curing it by counsel.
Did you ever cure any so?
Yes, one, and in this manner. He was to imagine me his love, his mistress, and I set him every day to woo me. At which time would I, being but a moonish youth, grieve, be effeminate, changeable, inconstant, full of tears, full of smiles, for every passion something, and for no passion truly anything, as boys and women are, for the most part, cattle of this color, would now like him, now loathe him, then entertain him, then forswear him, now weep for him, then spit at him. That I drove my suitor from his mad humor of love to a living humor of madness, and was to forswear the full stream of your world and to live in a nook, merely monastic. And then I cured him. And this way will I take upon me to wash your liver as clean as a sound sheep's heart, that there shall be not one spot of love in it.
I would not be cured, youth.
Oh, I would cure you if you would call me Rosalind and come every day to my court and woo me.
Now, by the faith of my love, I will. Tell me where it is.
Go with me to it, and I'll show it to you. And by the way, you shall tell me where in the forest you live. Will you go?
With all my heart, good youth.
No, you must call me Rosalind. Come, sister, will you go? Act 3, Scene 3.
I'm just trying to get on. Oh. Right there. Am I on? Come apace, Audrey. I will fetch up your goats, Audrey. And how, Audrey, am I the man yet? Does my simple features content you?
Your features, Lord, warned us. What features?
Oh. What is going on today? My features. Oh, there's a line. Oh, yes, my features. Well, I am here with thee and thy goats, as the most capricious poet, honest Ovid was among the goats.
Oh, knowledge ill inhabited, worse than Jove in a thatched house.
When a man's verses cannot be understood, nor a man's good wit seconded with a forward child, understanding, it strikes the man more dead than a great reckoning in the little room. Truly, I would the gods had made thee more poetical.
I do not know what poetical is. Is it honest in deed and word? Is it a true thing?
No, truly, for the truest poetry is the most feigning. And lovers are given to poetry, and what they swear in poetry may be said as lovers, they do feign.
Do you wish then that the gods had made me poetical?
I do, truly, for thou swearest to me thou art honest. Now, if thou were a poet, I might have some hope thou didst feign.
Would you not have me honest?
No, truly, unless thou were part favor. For honesty, coupled to beauty, is to have honey as sauce to sugar.
A material fool.
Well, I am not fair, and therefore I pray the gods made me honest.
Truly, and to cast away honesty upon a fowl that were to put a good meat into an unclean dish.
I am not a slut, though I thank the goddess I am foul.
Well, praise be the gods for thy foulness. Sluttishness may come hereafter. But be as it may be, I will marry thee. And to that end, I have been with Sir Oliver Martext, the vicar of the next village, who has promised to meet me in this place in the forest in Tropopoulos.
I would fain see this meeting.
Well, the gods give us joy.
Amen. A man may, if he were of a fearful heart, stagger in this attempt, for here we have no temple but the wood, no assembly but horned beasts. But what though? Courage? As horns are odious, they are necessary. It is said, many a man knows no end of his goods. Right. Many a man has good horns and knows no end to them. Well, that is the dowry of his wife. It's none of his own getting. Home? Horns? Even so. For a man alone? No. The noblest deer hath them as huge as the rascal. Is the single man therefore blessed? No. As a walled town is more worthier than a village, so is the forehead of a married man more on the bare brow of a bachelor. By how much defense is better than no skill, but by how much is a horn more precious than to want? Oh, here he comes, Sir Oliver Martext. You are well met. Will you dispatch us here under the tree, or shall we go with you to your chapel? Hello? Oliver? I can't hear anything now. Hold on. What happened? Oliver?
It's not you, Michael.
Okay. I thought it was me again.
I'll step in for Jackie. Is there none here to give the woman?
I will not take her on a gift of any man.
Truly, she must be given, or the marriage is not lawful.
Proceed. I'll give her.
Yeah, what page is
Oh.
that? What page are we on?
Oh, good. We're on.
77.
I'm on a different script.
What page?
Oh, good evening.
77.
Okay, I got
Good
lost
evening.
here. Okay.
Good evening,
All right,
good master.
Is there
What
none
do you
here
call it?
is there none here who would give the woman?
I will not take her on a gift of any man.
Truly, she must be given, or the marriage is not lawful.
Proceed. I'll give her.
Oh, good evening, good master. What do you call it? How you do, sir? You are very well met. Got ill for your lost company. I am very glad to see you, even a toy in hand, sir. Pray, be comforted.
Will you be married, Motley?
Oh, as the ox hath his bow, sir, the horse his curb, and the falcon her bell, so man has his desires, and as a pigeon, wedlock would be nibbling.
And will you, being a man of your breeding, be married under a bush like a beggar? Get you to church and have a good priest that can tell you what marriage is. This fellow will but join you together as they join wainscot. Then one of you will prove a shrunk panel, and like green timber, warp.
Well, I am not of the mind, but I were better to be married of him than of another, for he is not like to marry me well. And not being well married, it will be a good excuse for me hereafter to leave my wife.
Go thou with me, and let me counsel thee.
Come, sweet Audrey, we must be married, or we must. Farewell, good Master Oliver. Sweet Oliver. Brave Oliver, leave me not behind thee, but wind away, be gone. I will not to wedding with thee.
'Tis no matter, near a fantastic knave of them shall flout me out of my Poland.
Would you all like to keep going, or you want to take 5 minutes?
No, my script jammed. Something happened here. I'm sorry. That's what happened. That's why I wasn't there.
That's okay. No
I
problem.
can't. I jammed up. I can't move.
You want to
anything.
take 5 minutes, everybody, or you want to keep going?
Sure.
I would be good with taking 5.
Yeah,
Okay.
I could take 5.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I can hardly. Luckily, I have a script here. I can't move my script at all. I don't know what happened here.
Oh dear.
It's frustrating.
Wow. It's a jam. Forgive me all.
No problem.
Yeah, I don't know
My
what.
computer went out. It went out entirely, twice. That's why I lost you. I missed most of my parts.
This is a cursed reading, I tell you.
Yeah. This is why I hate doing things on Zoom.
Yeah, I mean, as long as, our computers cooperate, I prefer it. That way I don't have to leave my house. Of course, you always, just as with doing it in person, you risk, delayed subways and other problems. You risk this with Zoom,
True.
I still prefer doing it in person. I'm not a big fan of leaving my house and traveling, but
Be right back.
it's still better than this for me.
I want to apologize, guys, for my screw up. I lost my place several times, and I'm really sorry. I missed that screwed up the first scene so bad.
Oh,
That's okay.
I'm sorry about that. I'm going home now. So I think I got time to get home and get on my computer.
how do you find Rosalind, Virginia?
Yeah, it's good so far.
Good. You said you saw Maggie Smith play it on stage.
Yeah, she was pretty amazing. Yeah.
I was just listening to her again. I heard a recording from 1962 when she was 28.
Oh, wow.
I heard it. I listened to that again because they have the same actor doing Adam and William in that. And he does a third part, the Duke Frederick, and he's excellent.
This is such a great play.
Yeah.
I'm getting the theme of 7 in this a lot this time. 7 is a big deal play. Yeah. He speaks of, Adam speaks of 7. Who else speaks of 7 besides me later on?
Does the 7 ages of
Jaques
man.
speaks of 7, the 7 ages of man, and then there's another reference to 7 before I speak of 7 at the end. 7 is a big deal in this play.
I never thought of it that way.
I didn't get it until today. I just noticed how much 7 is referred to. At least 3 or 4 occasions.
Michael, I wanted to mention how much I appreciate your sending me the link to that Marasad. I just watched it through for the second time. I watched it through for the second time, and I got even more out of it the second time.
Oh, yeah.
And I probably will the third time I watch it. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
There's a fun play.
It's fun, and it makes you think.
Well, we had a lot of fun doing it down on 14th Street back in 1977.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it actually got good reviews. It was a dinky little showcase, hot. It was the summer of the blackout. And
oh, yeah. I remember that.
1977. In fact, we were supposed, I think I told you, we were supposed to open that night, but the organ broke. It was the night before Bastille Day. So we were rehearsing Luther, and all of a sudden the lights went out. And we started to rehearse with candles. We decided that was a bad idea. Oh my God, there's a 20 fire, there's a whole bunch of cops in the street here. Oh my God, what's going on? Oh my God, my entire Riverside Drive is filled with cops. Ooh. Anyway, so if we had opened that night, we would have been opening Act 2 when the lights went out. Yeah, we would have been in Act 2 probably, or maybe intermission.
Yeah, there was the other big New York blackout the day after I was born in '65.
Oh, that one I could tell you wild stories about. I lived in the only town in the entire East Coast that didn't get the blackout. Isn't that weird? All this horror stuff. Yeah. That was a weird blackout.
There were a lot of riots and a lot of stealing and looting then, right?
Not in the 65 one, in the 77 one, yeah. 77 was horrible. 65 was weird in that the entire East Coast went out, but the 77 one was basically New York, right? But it was awful, yeah. We had a good time. We were up on 14th Street, but there was broken glass everywhere.
Hello, Paul.
Hey, yeah, I just wanted to say I've been listening, watching most of it, and good job, everyone. This is a lot of play and so many good things. I thought it was an interesting one production I saw where they basically, after the Act 2, Scene 7, that, lead him hence, that they basically sort of had Adam like just sort of die on stage and they carried him off. You don't see him anymore. And generally, a lot of times with a lot of companies, then that actor is Corin. It's because also, I mean, so many sort of literary references and references, like a Great Reckoning in the Little Room,
Michael, your scene is a mess. You're making noise, Michael.
I'm going to mute myself.
He's doing King Lear, blow wind and crack your cheeks.
Yes, and we are getting back to some more in-person readings as well. Just wanted to also to let people know about that this Sunday is Two Gentlemen of Verona at the Jefferson Market Library, and then next Saturday at the Yorkville Library is Antony and Cleopatra. And we also have some other ones coming up in the next weeks after that, which July 1st Midsummer and July 8th, King John. So,
Oh,
Yeah,
excellent.
I was just saying that I really appreciate that you're
We could use a couple more people for gentlemen on Sunday.
Yeah, I was just saying that I really appreciate that you're still doing Zoom readings. It's both more convenient for me and, especially because unfortunately the pandemic isn't over. Emergency designations are over, pandemic isn't. And for somebody who has autoimmune issues, it's honestly dangerous for me to be doing in-person stuff. So I hope you continue doing Zoom stuff in addition to the in-person.
oh yeah, definitely. Even though we're doing in person, we do want to, keep doing Zoom for that very reason, because it is, it's still a dangerous situation there, but we are doing Zoom, and it's also great because then we can get to deal with people from all over the place, and to have people who have fun. So yeah, we will definitely continue with that. And as I get the schedule settled for like what we have the in-person dates, that's what I'm waiting to sort of complete the season schedule and get more Zoom readings scheduled.
You are a hero, Paul. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Well,
we
we
miss you doing it live. I remember working with you live and having fun. And then
Yeah, well, I'll be there for your Tartuffe in July, so.
right. And I've been also, I miss having her around. We used to have a good time. Well, maybe COVID will get further and further away and you'll be able to work again live.
Crossing my fingers for exactly that, because I miss you guys too.
Yeah, I've had a lot of, I think I've had 3 boosters and 5 or 6 shots already. Thank good I haven't gotten COVID.
Yeah, Doc thinks I got COVID once. I have a theory for when it happened. That it just didn't show up on the rapid test I took at the time. Thank goodness I am fine now. But I don't want to risk it again.
My whole family got it. My son and his son in California, and we were out in California, and the whole week there we couldn't see them, and there we were, out in California. So the last day when we were about to leave, they came out to the garden, to say goodbye. It was terrible. It's really, such a terrible disease, separates families.
Yeah.
My girlfriend died in Honduras. I lost 3 girlfriends this past year. One could be 2 in COVID. They didn't tell me how my friend Pam died.
Seeing a lot of people, definitely was worse early on, definitely lost a lot more people early on, but seeing a lot of people get it pretty bad now that we're opening up again, unfortunately.
Well, are we ready to start up again?
Something cheerful now, yeah.
Do you know who died? Paul, no, Sandra Schwartz died. Did you know that?
No.
I wrote you a letter.
I didn't know.
John Schwartz's wife died April 13th. She died of cancer.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Right.
She was such a lovely person.
I sent Paul a letter, but maybe you didn't get it. Did you get it, Paul?
I hadn't seen it. No, I'm sorry. I would have responded to you.
Yeah, right. I wrote to you.
I have so many email accounts. Sometimes I miss things. So.
Yeah. April 13th, she died.
I
was
Mexico. Very sad
I didn't
to
get
learn.
to go to the funeral because of it. And he tried to reach me, and maybe we were in a mountain place, and I never even got the email. Like he wanted me to come to the funeral in Riverside, and I didn't even know. And I called her up a few weeks ago. I called John. I said, "Oh, let me speak to Sandy," and he said to me, "She's dead."
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's awful.
I know. How could and he had written me, and I finally found the email. He had called me too, but for some reason, when we were in New Mexico, I could have been in a museum and turned off my phone, or not seen whatever, or not received it. I was really upset, but I couldn't believe when he said to me, "She's dead." I thought I was going to faint. But she's dead. She died. She had been sick. She had been fighting cancer for a while.
Oh, such a great lady.
And I was very sad to learn yesterday about the actor Treat Williams.
Yeah.
That he died 2 days ago.
He got hit.
71 years old. 71 years old, and he got killed on his motorcycle in Connecticut. An SUV ran into him,
Terrible way
didn't
to
even
go,
see him.
too. It must have, like, he must
And
have
he
had-
was wearing a helmet, too.
Really?
He was wearing a helmet, too. Yeah.
Well, yes.
Last couple of years I was in high school, I just wanted to, yeah. Last couple
Well,
of
if they
years I
hit
was
him
in
in
high
the
school, I
chest,
wanted to be this
people's
guy.
lungs
Because
collapse. If the car winged him so that everything caved in on him, people die instantly. You know,
Yeah,
that.
it's very
Possibly,
sad.
yeah.
And there are, as
I met
said,
him.
Okay, well, now I think we do need to.
I met him in the year 2001.
Wow.
The year 2001, I saw him on Broadway in the Sondheim musical Follies. He was terrific.
I love
And I met him afterwards.
Pleasant actor.
We were talking about the part of Tom in The Glass Menagerie, which he did. He's such a
It's a sad
regular,
loss. It's a
down to
loss,
earth.
but we do need to get on with the reading. So I think.
Oh, sure,
we need
sure,
to-
okay.
I mean, yeah, I'm very sorry. We did have our memorial service back in around Memorial Day, and it is important to remember people, but we also do need to get on with the show.
Okay.
Sure.
Act 3, Scene 4. Never talk to me. I will weep.
Do, I prithee, but yet have the grace to consider that tears do not become a man.
But have I not cause to weep?
As good cause as one would desire, therefore weep.
His very hair is of the dissembling color.
Something browner than Judas's. Marry, his kisses are Judas's own children.
In faith, his hair is of a good color.
An excellent color. Your chestnut was ever the only color.
And his kissing is as full of sanctity as the touch of holy bread.
He hath brought a pair of cast lips of Diana. A nun of winter sisterhood kisses not more religiously. The very ice of chastity is in them.
But why did he swear he would come this morning and comes not?
Nay, certainly there is no truth in him.
Do you think so?
Yes. I think he is not a pit purse nor a horse dealer. But for his verity and love, I do think him as concave as a covered goblet or a worm-eaten nut.
Not true in love?
Yes, when he is in. But I think he is not in.
Well, you have heard him swear downright he was.
Was is not is. Besides, the oath of lover is no stronger than the word of a tapster. They are both the confirmer of false reckonings. He attends here in the forest on the Duke your father.
I met the Duke yesterday and had much question with him. He asked me of what parentage I was. I told him of as good as he. So he laughed and let me go. But what talk we of fathers when there is such a man as Orlando?
Oh, that's a brave man. He writes brave verses, speaks brave words, swears brave oaths, and breaks them bravely. Quite traverseth forth the heart of his lover. As a puny tilter, he spurs the horse but on one side, breaks his staff like a noble goose. But all's brave that youth mounts and folly dies. Who comes here?
Mistress and master, you have oft inquired after the shepherd that complained of love, who you saw sitting by me on the turf, praising the proud, disdainful shepherdess that was his mistress.
Well, and what of him?
If you will see a pageant truly played between the pale complexion of true love and the red glow of scorn and proud disdain, go hence a little, and I shall conduct you, if you will mark it.
Oh, come, let us remove. The sight of lovers feedeth those in love. Bring us to the sight, and you shall say I'll prove a busy actor in their play.
Oh, sweet Phoebe, do not scorn me. Do not, Phoebe, say that you love me not, but say not so in bitterness. The common executioner, whose heart is the accustomed sight of death makes hard, falls not the axe upon the humbled neck, but first begs pardon. Will you sterner be than he that dies and lives by bloody drops?
I would not be thy executioner. I fly thee, for I would not injure thee. Thou tellest me there is murder in my eye. 'Tis pretty sure and very palpable that eyes are the frailest and softest things, who shut their coward gates on atoms, should be called tyrants, butchers, murderers. Now I do frown on thee with all my heart. And if my eyes can wound, now let them kill thee. Now counterfeit to swine, while now fall down. Or if thou canst not, oh, for shame, for shame. Lie not to say my eyes are murderers. Now shew the wound my eye have made in thee. Scratch thee but with a pen, and there remains some scar of it. Lean upon a rush, the cicatrice incapable impression. Thy palm some moments keep. For now my eyes, which I have darted as thee, hurt thee not. Nor am I sure there is no force in eyes that can do hurt.
Dear Phoebe, if ever, as that ever may be near, you meet some fresh cheek, the power of fancy, then shall you know the wounds invisible that love's keen arrows make.
But till that time, come not thou near me. And when that time comes, afflict me with thy mocks. Pity me not. As to that time, I shall not pity thee.
And why, I pray you? Who might be your mother that you insult, exult, and all at once over the wretched? What though you have no beauty, as by my faith I see no more in you than without candle may go dark to bed? Must you be therefore proud and pitiless? Why? What means this? Why do you look on me? I see no more in you than the ordinary of nature's sail work. Oh, my little life, I think she means to tangle my eyes too. No, faith-proud mistress, hope not after it. 'Tis not your inky brows, your black silk hair, your bugle eyebrows, nor your cheek of cream that can entame my spirits to your worship. You foolish shepherd, wherefore do you follow her like foggy south, puffing with wind and rain? You are 1,000 times a properer man than she a woman. 'Tis such fools as you that makes the world full of ill-favored children. 'Tis not her glass, but you that flatters her. And out of you she sees herself more proper than any of her lineaments can show her. But mistress, know yourself. Down on your knees and thank heaven, fasting for a good man's love. For I must tell you friendly in your ear, sell when you can. You are not for all markets. Cry the man mercy, love him, take his offer. Foul is most foul, being foul to be a scoffer. So take her to thee, shepherd, fare you well.
Sweet youth, I pray you chide a year together. I had rather hear you chide than this man woo.
He's fallen in love with your foulness, and she'll fall in love with my anger. Huh, if it be so, as fast as she answers thee with frowning looks, I'll sauce her with bitter words. Why look you so upon me?
For no ill will I bear you.
I pray you do not fall in love with me, for I am falser than vows made in wine. Besides, I like you not. If you will know my house, 'tis at the tuft of olives here hard by. Will you go, sister? Shepherd, ply her hard. Come, sister. Shepherdess, look on him better, and be not proud. Though all the world could see, none could be so abused in sight as he. Come, to our flock.
Head shepherd, now I find thy sore of might. Whoever loved, that loved not at first sight.
Phoebe.
What sayest thou, Sylvius?
Sweet Phoebe, pity me.
Why am I sorry for thee, gentle Sylvius?
Wherever sorrow is, relief would be. If you do sorrow at my grief and love, by giving love your sorrow and my grief, we're both examined.
Thou hast my love. Is not that neighborly?
I would have you.
Why, that were covetousness, Silvius. The time was that I hated thee, and yet it is not that I bear thee love. But since thou canst talk of love so well, thy company, which erst was irksome to me, I will endure. And I employ thee too, but do not look for further recompense than thou own gladness that thou art employed.
So holy and so perfect is my love, and I in such a poverty of grace, that I shall think it a most plenteous crop to glean the broken ears after the man that the main harvest reaps, loose now and then a scattered smile that I'll live upon.
Knowest that the youth that speak to me while, yeah.
Not very well, but I have met him oft, and he hath bought the cottage and the bound that the old harlot once was master of.
Think not I love him. Though I ask for him, he's but a peevish boy, yet he talks well. But what care I for words? Yet words do well when he that speaks them pleases them that hear. It is a pretty youth. I mean, not very pretty, but sure he's proud, and yet his pride becomes him. He'll make a proper man. The best thing in him is his complexion. And faster than his tongue did make offense, his eye did heal it up. He's not very tall, yet for his years he's tall. His leg is but so, and yet is well. There was a pretty redness in his lip, a little riper and more lusty red than that mixed in his cheek. 'Twas just a difference. Betwixt the constant red and mingled damask, there be some women, Silvius, had they marked him in process as I did, would have gone near to fall in love with him. But for my part, I love him not, nor hate him not. And yet have more cause to hate him than to love him. For what he had do to chide at me, he said my eyes were black and my hair black. And now I am remembered. Look at me. I marveled why I answered again, not again. But that's all one. Omentus is no acquaintance. I'll write to him a very tainting letter, and thou should bear it. Will thou, Silvius?
Oh, Phoebe, with all my heart.
I'll write it straight. The matter's in my head and in my heart. I will be better with him in passing short. Go with me, Silvius.
Act 4, Scene 1.
I prithee, pretty youth, let me be better acquainted with thee.
They say you are a melancholy fellow.
I am so. I do love it better than laughing.
Those that are in extremity of either are abominable fellows, and betray themselves to every modern censure, worse than drunkards.
Why, 'tis good to be sad and say nothing.
Why, then 'tis good to be a post.
I have neither the scholar's melancholy, which is emulation, nor the musician's, which is fantastical, nor the courtier's, which is proud, nor the soldier's, which is ambitious, nor the lawyer's, which is politic, nor the lady's, which is nice, nor the lover's, which is all these, but it is a melancholy of my own, compounded of many simples, extracted from many objects, and indeed the sundry contemplation of my travels, in which by often ruminations wraps me in a most humorous sadness.
A traveler. By my faith, you have great reason to be sad. I fear you have sold your own lands to see other men's. Then to have seen much and to have nothing is to have rich eyes and poor hands.
Yes, I have gained my experience.
And your experience makes you sad. I had rather have a fool to make me merry than experience to make me sad, and to travail for it too.
Good day and happiness, dear Rosalind.
Nathan, goodbye you, and you talk in blank verse.
Farewell, Monsieur Traveler. Look you, lisp, and wear strange suits. Disable all the benefits of your own country. Be out of love with your nativity, and almost chide God for making you that countenance you are, or I will scarce think you have swum in a gondolo. Why, how now, Orlando? Where have you been all this while? You, a lover? And you serve me such another trick? Never come in my sight again, more.
My fair Rosaline, I come within an hour of my promise.
Break an hour's promise in love? He that will divide a minute into 1,000 parts and break but a part of the 1,000th part of a minute in the affairs of love, it may be said of him that Cupid hath clapped him on the shoulder, but I'll warrant him heart whole.
Pardon me, dear Rosalind.
Nay, and you be so tardy, come no more in my sight. I as lief be wooed of a snail.
Of a snail?
Aye, of a snail. For though he comes slowly, he carries his house on his head. A better jointure, I think, than you who make a woman. Besides, he brings his destiny with him.
What's that?
Why, horns. You such as you are fain to be beholding to your wives, for he comes armed in his fortune and prevents the slander of his wife.
Virtue is no hornmaker, and my Rosalind is virtuous.
And I am your Rosalind.
It pleases him.
It pleases him to call you so, but he hath rather a Rosalind of a better leer than you.
Come, woo me, woo me. For now I am in a holiday humor, and like enough to consent. What would you say to me now? And I were your very, very Rosalind.
I would kiss before I spoke.
Oh, nay, you were better speak first. And when you were gravelled for lack of matter, you might take occasion to kiss. Very good orators, when they were out, they will spit. And for lovers lacking, God warn us, matter, the cleanliest shift is to kiss.
How if the kiss be denied?
Then she puts you to entreaty, and there begins new matter.
Who could be out, being before his beloved mistress?
Mary, that should you, if I were your mistress, or I should think my honesty ranker than my wit.
What of my sweet?
Not out of your apparel, and yet out of your suit. Am not I your Rosalind?
I take some joy to say you are, because I would be talking of her.
Well, in her person, I say I will not have you.
Then in mine own person, I die.
No, Faith. Die by attorney. The poor world is almost 6,000 years old, and in all this time there was not any man died in his own person, videlicet, in a love cause. Troilus had his brains dashed out with a Grecian club, yet he did what he could to die before, and he is one of the patterns of love. Leander, he would have lived many a fair year, though Hero had turned none. If it had not been for a hot midsummer night, for a good youth, he went but forth to wash him in the Hellespont, and being taken with the cramp, was drowned. And the foolish chroniclers of that age found it was Hero of Cestus. But these are all lies. Men have died from time to time, and worms have eaten them, but not for love.
I would not have my right Rosalind of this mind, for I protest her frown might kill me.
Oh, by this hand, it will not kill a fly. But come, now I will be your Rosalind in a more coming on disposition. And ask me what you will, I will grant it.
Then love me, Rosalind.
Oh, yes. Faith, will I. Fridays and Saturdays, and all.
And wilt thou have me?
Aye, and 20 such.
What sayest thou?
Are you not good?
I hope so.
Why, then, one can desire too much of a good thing. Come, sister, you shall be the priest and marry us. Give me your hand, Orlando. What do you say, sister?
Pray thee, marry us.
I cannot say the words.
You must begin. Will you, Orlando?
Go to. Will you, Orlando, have to wife this Rosalind?
I will.
Aye, but when?
Why now, as fast as she can marry us.
Then you must say, I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
I might ask you for your commission, but I do take thee, Orlando, for my husband. There's a girl goes before the priest, and certainly a woman's thought runs before her actions.
So do all thoughts. They are winged.
Now, tell me how long you will have her after you have possessed her.
Forever and a day.
Oh, say a day without the ever. No, no, Orlando. Men are April when they woo, December when they wed. Maids are May when they are maids, but the sky changes when they are wives. I will be more jealous of thee than a Barbary cock pigeon over his hen, more clamorous than a parrot against rain, more newfangled than an ape, more giddy in my desires than a monkey. I will weep for nothing, like Diana in the fountain, and I will do that when you are disposed to be merry. I will laugh like a hyena, and that when thou art inclined to sleep.
But will my Rosaline do so?
By my life, she will do as I do.
Oh, but she is wise.
Or else she could not have the wit to do this. The wiser, the waywarder. Make the doors upon a woman's wit, and it will out at the casement. Shut that, and 'twill out at the keyhole. Stop that, 'twill fly with the smoke out at the chimney.
Oh, man that had a wife with such a wit, he might say, wits whether will it.
Nay, but you might keep that check for it, till you met your wife's wit going to your neighbor's bed.
And what wits could wit have to excuse that?
Marry, to say she came to seek you there. You shall never take her without her answer, unless you take her without her tongue. Oh, that woman that cannot make her fault her husband's occasion, let her never nurse her child herself, for she will breed it like a fool.
For these 2 hours, Rosaline, I will leave thee.
Alas, dear love, I cannot lack thee 2 hours.
I must attend the Duke at dinner. By 2 o'clock, I will be with thee again.
Aye, go your ways, go your ways. I know what you would prove. My friends told me as much, and I thought no less. That flattering tongue of yours won me. 'Tis but one cast away, and so come death. 2 of the clock is your hour.
Aye, sweet Rosaline.
By my troth, and good earnest, and so God mend me. And by all pretty oaths that are not dangerous, if you break one jot of your promise, or come 1 minute behind your hour, I will think you the most pathetical break promise, and the most hollow lover, and the most unworthy of her you call Rosalind, that may be chosen out of the gross band of the unfaithful. Therefore, beware my censure, and keep your promise.
With no less religion than if thou wert indeed my Rosaline. So adieu.
Well, time is the old justice that examines all such offenders, and let time try. Adieu.
You have simply misused our sex in your love praise. We must have your doublet and hose plucked over your head, and show the world what the bird has done to her own nest.
Oh, cuz, my pretty little cuz, that thou didst know how many fathom deep I am in love. But it cannot be sounded. My affection hath an unknown bottom, like the Bay of Portugal.
Or rather bottomless, that as fast as you pour affection in, it runs out.
No, that same wicked bastard of Venus, that was begot of thought, conceived of spleen, and born of madness, that blind rascally boy that abuses everyone's eyes because his own are out. Let him be judge how deep I am in love. I'll tell thee, good Eliana, I cannot be out of the sight of Orlando. I'll go find his shadow, and sigh till he comes.
And I'll sleep.
Act 4, Scene 2.
Which is he that killed the deer?
It was I, sir.
Let's present him to the Duke like a Roman conqueror, and it would do well to set the deer's horns upon his head for a branch of victory. Have you no song, Forester, for this purpose?
Oh, yes, sir.
Sing it. 'Tis no matter how it be in tune, so it make noise enough.
What shall he have that killed the deer? His leather skin and horns to wear. Then sing him home, the rest shall bear this burden. Take thou no scorn to wear the horn, it was the crest ere thou wast born. Thy father's father wore it, and thy father bore it. The horn, the lusty horn is not a thing to laugh to scorn.
Act 4, Scene 3. How say you now? Is it not past 2 o'clock? And here, much Orlando.
I warrant you, with pure love and troubled brain, he hath taken his bow and arrows and is gone forth to sleep. Look, who comes here?
My errand is to you, fair youth. My gentle Phoebe did bid me give you this. I know not the contents, but as I guess, by the stern brow and the waspish action which she did use, as she was writing of it, it bears an angry tenor. Pardon me, I am but a guiltless messenger.
Patience herself would startle at this letter and play the swaggerer. Bear this, bear all. She says I am not fair, that I lack manners. She calls me proud, and that she could not love me were man as rare as Phoenix. Odds my will, her love is not the hare that I do hunt. What writes she so to me? Well, shepherd, well, this is a letter of your own device.
Oh, I protest, I know not the contents. Phoebe did write it.
Come, come, you are a fool, and turned into the extremity of love. I saw her hand. She has a leathern hand, a free stone-colored hand. I verily did think that her old gloves were on, but 'twas her hands. She has a housewife's hand, but that's no matter. I say she never did invent this letter. This is a man's invention and his hand.
Sure it is hers.
Why, 'tis a boisterous and a cruel style, a style for challengers. Well, she defines me, like Turk to Christian. Women's gentle brain could not drop forth such rude, giant invention, such Ethiop words, blacker in their effect than in their countenance. Will you hear the letter?
So please you, for I never heard it yet heard too much of Phoebe's cruelty.
She Phoebes me, mark you how the tyrant writes. Art thou, God, to shepherd turned, that a maiden's heart hath burned? Can a woman rail thus?
Call you this railing?
Why, thy Godhead laid apart, where'st thou with a woman's heart? Did you ever hear such railing? Whiles the eye of a man did woo me, that could no vengeance to me, meaning me a beast. If the scorn of your bright eyne have power to raise such love in mine, alack in me, what strange effect would they work in mild aspect? Whiles you chid me, I did love. How then might this love, how then might your prayers move? He that brings this love to thee little knows this love in me, and by him seal up thy mind, whether that thy youth and kind will the faithful offer take of me and all that I can make, or else by him my love deny, and then I'll study how to die.
Call you this chiding?
Alas, poor shepherd.
Do you pity him? No, he deserves no pity. Wilt thou love such a woman? What, to make thee an instrument and play false strains upon thee? Not to be endured. Well, go your way to her, for I see love hath made thee a tame snake, and say this to her, that if she love me, I charge her to love thee. If she will not, I will never have her, unless thou entreat for her. If you be a true lover, hence, and not a word, for here comes more company.
Good morrow, fair ones. Pray you, if you know, where in the purlieus of this forest stands a sheepcote fenced about with olive trees?
West of this place, down in the neighbor bottom, the rank of osiers by the murmuring stream, left on your right hand brings you to the place. But at this hour the house doth keep itself. There's none within.
If that an eye may profit by a tongue, then should I know you by description. Such garments and such years, the boy is fair, of femal favor, and bestows himself like a ripe sister. The woman low and browner than her brother. Are not you the owner of the house I did inquire for?
It is no boast being asked to say we are.
Orlando doth commend him to you both. And to that youth he calls his Rosalind. He sends this bloody napkin. Are you he?
Oh, sorry. I am. What must we understand by this?
Some of my shame, if you will know of me what man I am, and how and why and where this handkerchief was stained.
I pray you, tell it.
When last the young Orlando parted from you, he left a promise to return again within an hour, and pacing through the forest, chewing the food of sweet and bitter fancy, lo, what befell. He threw his eyes aside, and mark what object did present itself under an old oak, whose boughs were mossed with age, and high atop bald with dry antiquity. A wretched, ragged man, o'ergrown with hair, lay sleeping on his back. About his neck a green and gilded snake had wreathed itself, who with her head, nimble in threats, approached the opening of his mouth. But suddenly, seeing Orlando, it unlinked itself, and with indented glides did slip away into a brush, under which bushes shade a lioness, with udders all drawn dry, lay crouching head on ground, with cat-like watch, when that sleeping man should stir. For 'tis the royal disposition of that beast to prey on nothing that doth seem as dead. This seen, Orlando did approach the man, and found it was his brother, his elder brother.
Oh, I have heard him speak of that same brother, and he did render him the most unnatural that lived amongst men.
And well he might do so, for well I know he was unnatural.
But to Orlando, did he leave him there, food to the sucked and hungry lioness?
Twice did he turn his back and proposed so. But kindness, nobler ever than revenge, and nature stronger than his just occasion, made him give battle to the lioness, who quickly fell before him, in which hurtling from miserable slumber I awaked.
Are you his brother?
Was it you he rescued?
Was it you that did so oft contrive to kill him?
'Twas I, but 'tis not I do not shame to tell you what I was, since my conversion so sweetly tastes, being the thing I am.
But for the bloody napkin?
By and by, when from the first to last betwixt us two, tears our recountments had most kindly bathed, as how I came into that desert place. I brief, he led me to the gentle Duke, who gave me fresh array and entertainment, committing me unto his brother's love, who led me instantly into his cave. There stripped himself, and here upon his arm the lioness had torn some flesh away, which all this while had bled. And now he fainted, and cried in fainting upon Rosalind. Brief, I recovered him, bound up his wound, and after some small space, being strong at heart, he sent me hither, stranger as I am, to tell this story, that you might excuse his broken promise, and to give this napkin, dyed in this blood, unto the shepherd youth, that he in sport doth call his Rosalind.
Why, how now, Rosalind? How now, Ganymede, sweet Ganymede?
Many will swoon when they do look on blood.
There is more in it. Cousin Ganymede?
Look. Oh, he recovers.
I would I were at home.
We'll lead you thither. I pray you, will you take him by the arm?
Be of good cheer, youth. You're a man. You lack a man's heart.
I do so. I confess it. Oh, sir, a body would think this was well counterfeited. I pray you, tell your brother how well I counterfeited. Oh, hey ho.
This was not counterfeit. There is too great testimony in your complexion that it was a passion of earnest.
Counterfeit, I assure you.
Well then, take a good heart and counterfeit to be a man.
So I do. But faith, I should have been a woman by right.
Come, you look paler and paler. Pray you, draw homewards. Good sir, go with us.
That will I, for I must bear answer back how you excuse my brother, Rosaline.
I shall devise something, but I pray you, commend my counterfeiting to him. Will you go?
We shall find a time, Audrey. Patience, gentle Audrey.
Faith, the priest was good enough for all the old gentleman's saying.
Most wicked Sir Oliver, Audrey, a most vile Martex. But Audrey, there is a youth here in the forest lays claim to you.
Aye, I know who it is. He hath no interest in me in the world. Here comes the man you mean.
It is meat and drink to me to see a clown. By my troth, we that have good wits have much to answer for. We shall be flouting, we cannot hold.
Good even, Audrey.
Good even, William.
Good evening.
And good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, gentle friend. Cover thy head, cover thy head. Nay, prithee, be covered. How old are you, friend?
25, sir.
A ripe age. Is thy name William?
William, sir.
A fair name. Was born in the forest here?
Aye, sir. I thank God.
Thank God. Answer. Art rich?
Faith, sir, so.
So. So is good. It's very good. Very excellent. Good. And yet it is not. It is but so. Art thou wise?
Aye, sir. I have a pretty wit.
Oh, well, thou sayest well. I do remember a saying, the fool does think he is wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool. The heathen philosopher, when he had a desire to eat a grape, would open his lips when he put it into his mouth, meaning thereby that grapes were made to eat and lips to ope. You do love this maid?
I do, sir.
Give me your hand. Art thou learned?
No, sir.
Then learn this of me. To have is to have, for it is a figure in rhetoric that drink being poured out of a cup into a glass, while filling the one doth empty the other. For all your writers do consent that ipse is he. Now you are not ipse, for I am he.
Which he, sir?
He, sir, that must marry this woman. Therefore, you clown, abandon, which is in the vulgar, leave the society, which in the boorish is company of this female, which in the common is woman, which together is abandon the society of the female. Or clown, thou perished, or to thy better understanding, diest, or to wit, I kill thee, make thee away, transfer life into thy death, thy liberty into bondage. I will deal on poison with thee, or in bastonado, or in steel. I will bandy thee with thee in faction. I will run thee with policy. I will kill thee 150 ways. Therefore, tremble and depart.
Do good, William.
God rest you merry, sir.
Our master and mistress seeks you. Come away, away.
Oh, trip, Audrey, trip. I attend, I attend.
Act 5, Scene 2.
It's possible that on so little acquaintance you should like her, that but seeing you should love her, and loving woo, and wooing she should grant, and will you persevere to enjoy her?
Neither call the giddiness of it in question, the poverty of her, the small acquaintance, my sudden wooing or sudden consenting, but say with me, I love Aliena. Say with her that she loves me. Consent with both that we may enjoy each other. It shall be to your good, for my father's house and all the revenue that was old Sir Rowland's will I estate upon you, and here live and die a shepherd.
You have my consent. Let your wedding be tomorrow. Thither will I invite the Duke and all his contented followers. Go you and prepare Eliana, for look you, here comes my Rosaline.
God save you, brother.
And you, fair sister.
Oh, my dear Orlando, how it grieves me to see thee wear thy heart in a scarf.
It is my arm.
I thought thy heart had been wounded with the claws of a lion.
Wounded it is, but with the eyes of a lady.
Did your brother tell you how I counterfeited to swoon when he showed me the handkerchief?
Aye, and greater wonders than that.
Oh, I know where you are. Nay, 'tis true. There was never anything so sudden but the sight of 2 rams and Caesar's thrasonical brag that I came, saw, and overcome. For your brother and my sister no sooner met, but they looked. No sooner looked, but they loved. No sooner loved, but they sighed. No sooner sighed, but they asked one another the reason. No sooner knew the reason, but they sought the remedy. And in these degrees have they made a pair of stairs to marriage, which they will climb incontinent, or else be incontinent before marriage. They are in the very wrath of love, and they will together. Clubs cannot part them.
They shall be married tomorrow, and I will bid the Duke to the nuptial. But oh, how bitter a thing it is to look into happiness through another man's eyes. By so much the more shall I tomorrow be at the height of heart heaviness. By how much I shall think my brother happy in having what he wishes for.
Why then tomorrow I cannot serve your turn for Rosalind.
I can live no longer by thinking.
I will weary you then, no longer with idle talking. Know of me then, for now I speak to some purpose, that I know you are a gentleman of good conceit. I speak not this, that you should bear a good opinion of my knowledge, insomuch I say I know you are. Neither do I labor for a greater esteem than may in some little measure draw a belief from you to do yourself good, and not to grace me. Believe then, if you please, that I can do strange things. I have since I was 3 years old conversed with a magician, most profound in his art, and yet not damnable. If you do love Rosalind so near the heart as your gesture cries it out, when your brother marries Aliena, shall you marry her? I know into what straits of fortune she is driven, and it is not impossible to me, if it appear not inconvenient to you, to set her before your eyes tomorrow, human as she is, and without any danger.
Speakest thou in sober meanings?
By my life I do, which I tender dearly, though I say I am a magician. Therefore, put you in your best array, bid your friends, for if you will be married tomorrow, you shall, and to Rosalind, if you will. Look, here comes a lover of mine and a lover of hers.
Youth, you have done me such ungentleness to show the letter that I write to you.
I care not if I have. It is my study to seem despiteful and ungentle to you. You are there followed by a faithful shepherd. Look upon him, love him. He worships you.
Good shepherd, tell this youth what 'tis to love.
It is to be all made of sighs and tears. And so am I for Phoebe.
And I am for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
I for no woman.
It is to be all made of faith and service, and so am I for Phoebe.
And I am for Ganymede.
And I am for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
It is to be all made of fantasy, all made of passion, and all made of wishes, all adoration, duty, and observance, all humbleness, all patience and impatience, all purity, all trial, all observance, and so am I for Phoebe.
So am I for Ganymede.
And so am I for Rosalind.
So am I for no woman.
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
If this be so, why blame me to love you?
Why do you speak to? Why blame you me to love you?
To her that is not here, nor doth not hear.
Pray you, no more of this. 'Tis like the howling of Irish wolves against the moon. I will help you if I can. I would love you if I could. Tomorrow meet me all together. I will marry you if ever I marry woman, and I'll be married tomorrow. I will satisfy you if ever I satisfied man, and you shall be married tomorrow. I will content you if what pleases you contents you, and you shall be married tomorrow. As you love Rosalind, meet. As you love Phoebe, meet. And as I love no woman, I'll meet. So fare you well. I have left you commands.
Will not fail if I live.
Nor I.
Nor I.
Tomorrow is the joyful day, Audrey. Tomorrow we will be married.
I do desire it with all my heart, and I hope it is no dishonest desire to be a woman, to desire to be a woman of the world. Here come two of the banished Duke's pages.
Well met, honest gentlemen.
My troth well met. Come, sit, and a song.
We are for you. Sit in the middle.
Shall we clap into it roundly without hawking or spitting or saying we are whores, which are the only prologues to a bad voice?
In faith, and both in a tune like two gypsies on a horse.
It was a lover and
his lass, with a hey and a ho and a hey nanny no.
That over the green cornfield did pass in the springtime, the only pretty ring time, when birds do sing, hey, ding, ding, sweet lovers love the spring, and therefore take
the present time with a hey and a ho and a hey nanny no.
For love is crowned with pride in the springtime, the only pretty ring time. Between the acres of the rye, with a hey and a ho and a hey nanny no, with these pretty country folks would lie in spring.
Oh, they began that hour with a hey and a hey no. How that a life was but a flower in springtime, Hey and a ho and a hey nanny no.
Yeah,
Love is crowned with a prime in springtime.
truly, young gentlemen, though there was no great matter in the ditty, yet your note was very untunable.
You are deceived, sir. We kept time. We lost not our time.
Yeah, I thought, yes, I counted, but time lost to hear such a foolish song. Goodbye, you, and God mend you your voices. Come, Audrey.
Act 5, Scene 3. 4.
Dost thou believe, Orlando, that the boy can do all this that he hath promised?
I sometimes do believe, and sometimes do not, as those that fear they hope, and know they fear.
Patience once more, whilst our compact is urged. You say if I bring in your Rosalind, you will bestow her on Orlando here?
Oh, that would I, had I kingdoms to give with her.
And you say you will have her when I bring her?
That would I, were I of all kingdoms king.
You say you'll marry me if I be willing?
That will I, should I die the hour after.
But if you do refuse to marry me, you give yourself to this most faithful shepherd?
So is the bargain.
You say that you'll have Phoebe if she will.
Though to have her and death were both one thing.
I have promised to make all this matter even. Keep you your word, O Duke, to give your daughter. You yours, Orlando, to receive his daughter. Keep you your word, Phoebe, that you'll marry me, or else refusing me to wed this shepherd. Keep your word, Silvius, that you'll marry her if she refuse me. And from hence I go to make these doubts all even.
I do remember in this shepherd boy some lively touches of my daughter's favor.
My lord, the first time that I ever saw him, methought he was a brother to your daughter. But my good lord, this boy is forest born, and hath been tutored in the rudiments of many desperate studies by this uncle, whom he reports to be a great magician, obscured in the circle of this forest.
There is sure another flood toward, and these couples are coming to the ark. Here comes a pair of very strange beasts, which in all tongues are called fools.
Salutation and greeting to you all.
Good my lord, bid him welcome. This is the motley-minded gentleman that I have so often met in the forest. He hath been a courtier, he swears.
If any man doubt that, let him put me to my purgation. I have trod a measure, I have flattered a lady, I have been politic with my friend, smooth with my enemy. I have done 3 tailors, I've had 4 quarrels, like to have fought one.
And how was that ta'en up?
Faith, we met and found the quarrel was upon the 7th cause.
How 7th cause? Good my lord, like this fellow?
I like him very well.
Good little to you, sir. I desire you of the like. I press in here, sir, amongst the rest of the country copulatives to swear and to forswear according as marriage binds and blood breaks. A poor virgin, sir, an ill-favored thing, sir, but mine own. A poor humor of mine, sir, to take that no man else will. Which rich honesty dwells like a miser, sir, at a poor's house, as your pearl and your foul oyster.
By my faith, he is very swift and sententious.
According to the fool's boat, sir, and such dulcet diseases.
But for the 7th cause, how did you find the quarrel on the 7th cause?
Upon a lie 7 times removed. Bear your body more seeming, Audrey. As thus, sir, I did dislike the cut of a certain courtier's beard. He sent me word, if I said his beard was not cut well, he was in the mind it was. This is called the retort courteous. If I sent him word again, it was not well cut, he would send me word he cut it to please himself. This is called the quip modest. If again it was not well cut, he disabled my judgment. This is called the reply churlish. If again it was not well cut, he would answer, I spake not true. This is called the reproof valiant. If again it was not well cut, he would say, I lie. This is called the counter-check quarrelsome, and so will lie circumstantial and the lie direct.
And how oft did you say his beard was not well cut?
No, I just go no further than the lie circumstantial, nor he does not give me the lie direct. And so we measured swords and parted.
Can you nominate in order now the degrees of the lie?
Oh, sir, we quarrel in print by the book. As you have books for good manners, I will name you the degrees. The first, the retort courteous. The second, the quip modest. The third, the reply churlish. The fourth, the reproof valiant. The fifth, the countercheck quarrelsome. The sixth, the lie with circumstance. The seventh, the lie direct. All these you may avoid, but the lie direct. And you may avoid that too with an if. I knew when 7 justices could take up a quarrel. When the parties were met themselves, one of them thought but of an if, as if you said so, then I said so. And they shook hands and swore brothers. Your if is the only peacemaker. Much virtue in if.
Is not this a rare fellow, my lord? He's as good at anything and yet a fool.
Ah, he uses his folly like a stalking horse, and under the presentation of that he shoots his wit.
Jackie, you're Hymen, please.
Yep. Then Hymen, Rosalind, and Celia. Still milk, there's music, and in comes Hymen. Then is there mirth in heaven when earthly things made even atone together. Good Duke, receive thy daughter. Hymen from heaven brought her, yet brought her hither, that thou mightest join his band with his, whose heart within his bosom is.
To you I give myself, for I am yours. To you I give myself, for I am yours.
If there be truth in sight, you are my daughter.
If there be truth in sight, you are my Rosalind.
If sight and shape be true, why then, my love, adieu.
I'll have no father if you be not he. I'll have no husband if you be not he. Nor ne'er wed woman if you be not she.
Peace ho, I bar confusion. 'Tis I must make conclusion of these most strange events. Here's 8 that must take hands to join in Hymen's bands. If truth holds true contents, you and you, no cross shall part. You and you are heart and heart. You to his love must accord, or have a woman to your lord. You and you are sure together as the winter to foul weather. Whilst a wedlock hymn we sing, feed yourselves with questioning, that reason wonder may diminish, how thus we met and these things finish. Wedding is great union's crown. Oh, blessed fond of board and bed. 'Tis Hymen's people every town. High wedlock then be honored, on a high honor and renown. To Hymen, God of every town. Oh, my dear niece, welcome thou art to me. Even daughter welcome in no less a degree.
I will not eat my word. Now thou art mine. Thy faith, my fancy to thee doth combine.
Enter a second brother.
Who wants to take this?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Let me have audience for a word or two. I am the second son of old Sir Rowland that bring these tidings to this fair assembly. Duke Frederick, hearing how that every day men of great worth resorted to this forest, addressed a mighty power which were on foot in his own conduct, purposely to take his brother here and put him to the sword. And to the skirts of this wild wood he came, where, meeting with an old religious man, after some question with him, was converted, both from his enterprise and from the world, his crown bequeathing to his banished brother, and all their lands restored to him again that were with him exiled. this to be true, I do engage my life.
Welcome, young man. Thou offerest fairly to thy brother's wedding, to one his lands withhold, and to the other a land itself at large, a potent dukedom. First, in this forest, let us do those ends that here were well begun, and we begot. And after every of these happy number that have endured show days and nights with us, shall share the good of our returned fortune according to the measure of their states. Meantime, forget this new feigned dignity and fall into our rustic revelry. Play music, and you brides and bridegrooms all, with measures heap and joy to the measures full.
Sir, by your patience, if I heard you rightly, the Duke hath put on a religious life and thrown into neglect the pompous court?
He hath.
To him will I. One of these Coventries, there is much matter to be heard and learned. You to your former honor, I bequeath your patience, and your virtue well deserves it. You to a love that your true faith doth merit. You to your land and love and great allies. You to a long and well-deserved bed. And you to wrangling, for thy loving voyage is but for 2 months victualled. So to your pleasures, I am for other than for dancing measures.
Oh, stay, je qui stay.
To see no pastime, what you would have, I'll stay to know at your abandoned cave.
Oh, proceed, proceed. We'll begin these rites as we do trust, they'll end in true delights.
It is not the fashion to see the lady the epilogue, but it is no more unhandsome than to see the lord the prologue. If it be true that good wine needs no bush, 'tis true that a good play needs no epilogue. Yet to good wine they do use good bushes, and good plays prove the better by the help of good epilogues. What a case am I in then, that am neither a good epilogue, nor cannot insinuate with you in the behalf of a good play? I am not furnished like a beggar, therefore to beg will not become me. My way is to conjure you, and I'll begin with the women. I charge you, O women, for the love you bear to men, to like as much of this play as please you. And I charge you, O men, for the love you bear to women, as I perceive by your simpering none of you hates them, that between you and the women the play may please. If I were a woman, I would kiss as many of you as had beards that pleased me, complexions that liked me, and breaths that I defied not. And I am sure as many as have good beards or good faces or sweet breaths will for my kind offer, when I make curtsy, bid me farewell. Yay! The end.
That was a really nice, strange reading.
Yeah.
You guys did great, all of you.
Yes, well done, everyone.
All of you.
You guys did amazing.
Good job, and thank you, Vincent, for stepping in at the last minute.
Yes.
Celia for stepping in and helping out. Thank you.
My script got stuck on the screen. I had to, thank God I had the little one with me. It was, forget it, right? I had some problems here.
Me too. I missed the whole first part of that scene.
Oh, good job, everybody.
I think it was great, guys.
The background you have, Michael. Those are pretty flowers.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
right.
Thank
Thank you, Virginia and Paul. Thank you, guys.
A good
Good
night.
night, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
See you next
Bye.
time.